Shame. No doubt, no doubt, Cowboy Nation. I'm still setting up. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. This will be your post-game show and analysis from yours truly. The Cowboys, we still got, we in the playoffs, man. We in the playoffs. It's just by way of stumbling into the playoffs. So if there's any bead of hope or any way that we can get ourselves back in the right groove of things, it will be next week, unfortunately. The Cowboys will get all of the negative spitting spews back at them, and that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, that will be a situation and scenario, how we got to look back at this and say, hey, can the Cowboys eventually go get over this hump of being one and done? And I know the perception. I know a lot of people are going to look at perception equals reality and things like that, but this is a big hill. What's next is the name of this game. Got to move on, got to get this off your shoulder, regroup, get back at it, and figure out things from there. Shout out to JR, man, for the thumbnail. I appreciate him so much, man. JR214, I thank you so much for the thumbnail. If this your first time here, let me know, man. Let me see it in the chat. Let me know, Cowboy Nation, as we continue to elevate everything. Twin, you're live, man. I'm still setting up, though. Go ahead and handle the show while I set up. Hold on. They said no sound, man. They said no sound. All right, can y'all hear sound now? God dog, the whole time it was no sound.
Did you hear me, bro? Oh, could you hear me?
The whole time with no sound, dog. Like, God, dog, no sound for real. Oh my gosh, man, y'all didn't hear none of the radio. I'm just in here listening. God,
Dates.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, yapping.
Man, so y'all didn't hear look. That's 2 L's, man. God, no, like they didn't hear Mike McCarthy or none of that. Now you won't be able to hear Mike McCarthy when I tune back in and forward.
Yeah.
But man, God, yeah, Mike McCarthy was like, y'all didn't hear Mike McCarthy at all, didn't y'all? Y'all they didn't hear Mike McCarthy, man. Oh my gosh, I'm surprised that many people was there watching. You know? Oh my gosh, man.
What happened?
Oh gosh, man. I don't know how that sound wasn't even on, man. See, it goes. I need to go grab you something to eat or something, man. But they heard it on their radio, man. Oh my gosh, man.
Cowboys.
See, what I do is we're gonna listen to the station and see what they got to say post game stuff, and then we'll go back and forth, man. But man, there was no sound, man. I'm sitting there like, yeah, man, Mike McCarthy, yeah, man, God, dog, man. All right, let's see if they back.
Turpin calls for.
Man, they lost, man. Look, you just don't know, man. Losing before you go to the playoff game is kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's meeting a girl for the first time and you farted. You know what I'm saying? You know. You try to holler at him.
No.
What is that?
Hey, no. Look. You meet the girl first time, and you only had that one white T-shirt, and you ironed it, and you let them coffee stains on it.
Stains on it, man. You know.
You're like, no.
On this terrible outing by the Cowboys, I'm not a burn the tape guy.
You can't hear it.
Promise it will be evaluated and learned from.
Me?
Also said we played poorly. That's on me. We need to practice better than we did last week. Very disappointing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he also brought up the difficulty of what was going on after the Buffalo game, the Monday night game and stuff. I think there was a lot of players around the league that were, having moments of, really where they are, and is Hamlin going to be okay? Could this happen to me? There's a lot of things. I mean, the league was offering, the teams counseling if they needed it, things like that. So
right.
I think the thing that was,
can you really use that as an excuse though?
Really bothered me, but once he said it, was the practice stuff. But then I started thinking again about the Hamlin stuff, and everybody, and it was like, and then you're getting a situation where you're thinking, well, you got to play to win,
right?
You got to play out there. You got to try and find a way to win, and they just this defense that the Commanders have, it didn't give you anything in the running game. I don't think any receivers were open. It seemed like I know they were talking about it on the broadcast that every ball was a contested ball.
It was, like it. Yeah.
I mean, it's clear that, you don't have somebody opposite CeeDee Lamb right now that could be that difference maker. I know we talk about, potentially with the T.Y. Hilton. He had a ball that he dropped that would have been a huge play. He had actually 2 drops in this game. Mm-hmm. One over the middle early in the game and then one down the field that would have converted a third down. But he's made some really good plays. Throwing the ball to Michael Gallup.
A lot of force balls to Noah Brown today.
Noah Brown had a lot of force balls. And I'm going to tell you this about Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup just does not look comfortable catching the ball. Michael Gallup fights the ball. And when you saw on that one ball that was inside there, in the second half, his knees just buckled.
Yeah.
He buckled, and it's almost like he's trying to do I catch this with my hands? Do I catch this with my body? Right now they just don't have that. And your quarterback didn't play well enough today either. That there was some the pick six. It's just an awful throw.
Horrible.
You
Back
just,
to back.
you read the coverage. If it's a covered 2, and Mike McCarthy was, he didn't say it, but we'll see it on tape. If it's a cover 2 look, that corner's going to squat. And when I mean the corner's going to squat, he's not going to move.
Yeah, so you got to throw
so
it
if
outside,
you just run basically a curl or an out, he's just waiting for the ball. That's
and
his
he
job.
throws it inside.
Yeah,
inside. Got to throw it outside. Yeah.
His responsibility on cover 2 is
outside.
that area.
That
Safety's
area.
got the hash, and then you've got the corner that squats. And so, the throw it out there just kind of very recklessly.
Two times on that play.
That's on Dak. You can't make that throw. So, he wasn't good today. The line didn't do a good enough job. They got behind the chains a bunch. third down, they were really, really bad.
3 of 14 on third down. And this was a team coming in, I think, they were going for a franchise record to surpass. I think they had 8 straight games coming into today of 50% or better on third down. And 3 of 14 today.
Yeah. Jack Del Rio's crew wasn't going to let you do that today. You just couldn't get open. Your quarterback was not good, couldn't run the ball. Your play caller, I think that he was really – now, again, are you trying to show anything? Are you not trying to show anything? Do you think you could just line up and beat these guys? But if you thought you're just going to roll out there and beat these guys just by rolling your helmet out there because they had a rookie quarterback,
no, they wouldn't.
That kid played well for them. I was impressed by what he was able to do, some of the throws and his ability to scramble around and make some plays.
Go ahead and pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys. Ready?
No doubt, man. So with that being said, on cover 2, you got to know what you got to do on that. And the Cowboys themselves, Dak Prescott, that was a obvious situation on cover 2. You can't go there. You knowing for sure that you got the ball, that you got to hit on the outside, especially when you're seeing the safety over the top and you're seeing the DB swat down the inside. So what you got on that, Twin?
Man, again, I thought y'all didn't necessarily stay consistent with that running game, man. Like, that's y'all Division 4, and we played them 2 weeks ago. And we saw, we had a hard time running that ball on them, but I think we ran for 153 yards, man, because, we stayed consistent. You know what I'm saying? And you got to make sure when you play against a team like that, they're going to be nasty. They're going to muck up the game. They're going to play a game where you guys got to make sure you go out there and take it from them. And I believe that. How many times did your boy Dak throw the ball this evening, man? I just think it was just the mentality of the team wasn't. That's too many times, especially when you ain't scoring 45 to 35 points. That's too many times to put the ball in the air,
bro.
And
Zeke and Pollard was averaging 2.7 yards, 2.0 for Zeke. Pollard got at least 2.7, but I was sitting no push, and then we running finesse looks out of shotgun.
That's what I'm saying, because if you're running, I see a lot of times y'all going in shotgun, or you got single back and shotgun 3-by-1 or something like that. It's bro, you got to sit back in I formation, or you got to get Turpin coming in the game, let him do the orbit. Y'all know about the orbit, right? He coming on in the back, the orbit motion around, have him, Tony Pollard, all at the same time. You have to do something to try to bust open the defense to kind of have a leak somewhere. But if you're just going to continue to give them the same looks over and over again, yes, it's going to be predictable with that line that they do have. They got 4 really good defensive tackles. I mean, a really good, front 4.
Well, we didn't get a chance to see Jonathan Allen out there, man. That would have been even more nastier, man. But to the Cowboys offense versus the Washington defense, it felt like they were the 85 Bears. You know what I'm saying? Them jokers, boy, they couldn't bust a grape, man. They had us on lock, man. And all of our wide receivers, that's why I say wide receivers getting open. You can fabricate open wide receivers, your screens, your tunnels, your short drags across the middle. There was none of that, and we still, if you're going to be a team that struggle in passing, use plays to get your passing open. Dare I say, West Coast offense. Can you break that down for people that don't understand that part of it, fam?
I mean, pretty much plays where you're going to sit there and use the disguise of you're going to use your disguise to open up the offense, especially in the middle of the field. In the West Coast, you throw a lot of the balls in the middle of the field, whether quick slants, quick in and outs, or you're going to use your running back to do angle routes, have them coming out being an option at the backfield where you use them to come through. You do little quick dip-offs. You're not really doing the vertical passing talking about, how we run it today. We don't use a lot of vertical passing. We use the running game to set up our passing game. But what we try to do is use the same plays, give you the same look, but just adjust it just a little bit. Just a little bit. So the defense can think, we run a power eye to the left behind Trent. And we will, but we're going to motion every time. So we can see what you guys like the defensive end, if they're in man-to-man or if they're in zone. And then we're going to give you the same play maybe 3 times. But then on the 3rd time, we're just looking for one player to make a hiccup, and then we'll do a play action, you know what I'm saying? And so it's up to us just to out-execute the other team. But the majority part of it is just saying that we're going to go a mano-a-mano, we're going to out-execute you, and we're not going to sit here and some of the plays on first down that I seen you guys doing is bro, you got a whole 2 quarters left. Why are you throwing the ball like it's Fourth quarter, and you down by 15 points. Like, bro, you got time. You got time today. You know what I'm saying? Keep running Zeke. Keep running Tony Pollard. Get Turpin or get somebody else to come in there and try to break it up a little bit and confuse the defense. But y'all just was like, know what? We from behind. We just gonna air this ball out. And I was like, that defense is the wrong defense to do that with.
No doubt, man. Let me see if they're back on for commercial break.
What is going on with Bland?
Go, man. I'm gonna put you back.
You cannot trust
here.
Mullen at all.
Now you good.
To
you
me,
good.
Mullen is now.
You good with time and everything, Twin?
Well, Cowboys.
Well, you know,
if you missed that, Cowboys rookie Deron Bland at corner left the game with a chest injury. He did not return. He's going to be reevaluated when the Cowboys get back to Frisco tomorrow, according to the team.
I hope it all
so
is well
we'll
with
have to see. And Deron Bland, who's having a fantastic rookie season.
Man.
That is definitely a position in which the Cowboys cannot afford to lose another player. They did sign Xavier Rhodes, former first-round pick and 3-time Pro Bowler, but he's been bouncing around the NFL, was on most recently the Bills practice squad. So we'll see if the Cowboys like what they see from him in practice, and they might give him some run. But they gave Mullen a shot, and ultimately, he got beat a couple of times.
Yeah,
tonight.
Mullen, Alexander, they're going through these guys. You know, they're going through these cornerbacks now, and they're trying to figure out who can play and who can't play. I think they realize that Mullen can't play. They need Bland. They need Bland badly in this game, unless they go with we'll see with who they put the guy they put on the practice squad just here recently.
Rhodes,
Sheffield.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole thing, talking to people around the league, there's a lack of speed there. He's dealt with some injuries in the past. He's got the length. He's got the toughness. Those were guys were telling me that's the stuff that Dan Quinn likes.
Right.
But if there's a lack of speed and stuff out there, we'll. But he's a veteran player and he's been through these. So maybe that's the next direction that they turn.
All right, let's go to line 2. We got Ken in Round Rock. Ken, what's going on?
Round Rock.
Hey guys, what's happening tonight?
What's happening?
Well, look, I mean, this is a big old bag of crap that these Cowboys served up. But it's sad because Brian, to your point, they had to come out and win the game. So you would assume that they were going to come out and give their best, and they got their butts kicked. But the big thing is, are we going to have Leighton Vander Esch back? I think so. Are we going to be able to get some help on the defensive line? I hope so. The thing that haunts me, after that Tampa Bay loss at the beginning of the year, I can't remember the name of the linebacker, but remember they basically did to us what Washington.
Where he at? Okay, let me see if I can get it back on, man. Good observation from Smooth, though. Come on, get back on.
Probably 4 picks tonight.
Sure could have.
The bad decision making some of those balls, trying to force balls in when you had, trying to fit in a high-low concept, all that, he was trying to force the ball in.
Yeah.
And it was throwing behind guys. He was just off. I don't know. We'll let Kurt Warner break it down. He'll do his little quarterback room, and we'll see how bad Dak was off or something. Maybe that knee injury last week, maybe there was something to that. Who knows?
He'll run it today.
I have zero confidence going into Tampa right now.
Okay.
Appreciate the call.
Thanks for the call, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I get it. After today's game, the way this team played, I can understand why I think the majority of Cowboy fans would probably be very pessimistic going into that game against Tampa Bay, especially with that quarterback on the other side. Dak played horrible today. He did.
He sure did.
Dak was very inaccurate. He threw. It was very. It was horrible to see when he threw what should have been a pick six to Kendall Fuller, and then the following play he does it again. And this time he got what he deserved, and it was intercepted and returned to it for a touchdown. Then you had the throw to Dalton Schultz, which really comes to mind, where it's severely overthrown. Schultz jumps in the air, luckily tips it.
Yeah.
And otherwise you had Fuller who was ready to catch it kind of like a punt. And field that thing, which would have been another interception. Dak was bad. This was probably outside of the game against Tampa Bay. This was the worst game that Dak has played all year long. As I mentioned in the open, it was the third worst game statistically by passer rating that he's played in the entirety of his career. He was horrible. He's got to be better or you have no chance. And there's no reason to be forcing balls to Noah Brown.
Right.
Okay? There's also no reason why I got to put a lot of blame on Kellen Moore as well. Mm-hmm. And maybe Kellen Moore was being vanilla. Maybe he didn't want to show too much.
That's the only hope.
I don't really understand why, because you're in a win and possible, hey, you got a number 1 seed if things go your way, or an NFC's title, but you got to find a way to get CeeDee Lamb involved. It took until the under 3 minutes to go in the first half for 88 to catch a football. It took until the second quarter, almost halfway through, for him to get a target. There is no reason. You mentioned, Brian, for the number 2 receiver, you don't really have one right now.
Right now you don't.
You have to be force-feeding CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
And the best teams in football, you don't see Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, and maybe you can be rolling your eyes and saying, well, CeeDee Lamb's not in that category. Statistically, CeeDee Lamb's a top 10 receiver easy, and he's borderline been a top 5 statistic wide receiver in the NFL. The Cowboys have to get him involved, and that is on Kellen Moore. Now, Dak Prescott, sure, he's got to throw it to him. Don't force it to Noah Brown, force it to 88. But Kellen Moore's got to be more creative in that area.
No question. I think you nailed it right on the head.
All right, let's go out to AJ in San Diego. AJ, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
That was a total stinker. I tend to reflect back to your tweet during the game, Brian, saying that McCarthy's keeping some of these guys out there, either as punishment or to make them feel, how bad this loss is.
Yep.
And I could definitely tell with Parsons, he was getting frustrated. And facing Brady next week, knowing how quick he gets the ball out, and knowing that the run defense seemingly has made some progress, and you're going to get Hankins and LVE back. Do you think that we should probably look at playing Parsons at linebacker? It seems like the last couple of games, he's been exclusively lining up on one side and just getting frustrated and worn down physically.
Right.
Given Tampa's quick passing game, do you think that may be a better option, keeping him at
linebacker
or maybe clogging some of those quick passes? Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you.
Please tell me.
Yeah, I don't know how many sacks you're going to get on Brady unless you get him to hold the football. That's going to be the most important thing. I mean, you're going to have to. I'm the game I really want to watch. If you've got all 22, go back and watch Brady play against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it was probably 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. That's a game that I'm really, really looking forward to. If you got that NFL on NFL.com and that Game Pass stuff, go back and watch that one, because that's the one to me I think that's going to tell me a lot, because they got him to turn it over. They got him to hold the ball.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's got some good secondary. They got a good front. So you got to figure out, go back and look at those game plans. New Orleans throughout history has done a good job. Dennis Allen, go back and look at some of those plans. And say, okay, how did you play in coverage?
Got to get pressure up the middle.
Mike Evans and Godwin and those guys like that. How did you, because the whole thing with the Cowboys, they just can't make them hold the ball long enough.
I know.
You saw what happened, though. They were able to get some negative plays, and they were able to get pass rush. They were able to get sacks after negative plays. I think that's going to be another key. But you're going to have to figure out, you're going to have to come with a game plan. I don't know if it's as simple as saying, play Parsons at linebacker, because you're right. In that game, it wasn't Tom Brady being Hall of Fame quarterback. It was Leonard Fournette running the ball for like $128.
They attacked the edge, and they really ran right at Trayvon Diggs.
And your quarterback was just as awful as he was tonight.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So that's something that you need to. But as far as game plans, I'm going back. I'm watching Cincinnati, and I'm watching some of the New Orleans games too.
No doubt.
Because I feel like those teams have a pretty good understanding how to play him.
Well, and the one thing we've talked about in terms of neutralizing this pass rush, and to your point, it's how quickly these quarterbacks are getting the ball out. There's nobody better at it than Tom Brady.
Nobody better than Tom Brady.
That's the thing about it is, and then are you capable enough of matching up on the outside, whether it's Bland, Wright, who's ever playing on the other side, just playing press and then making them hold that ball, or being able to knock the ball away.
Yeah,
a lot of it I think has to do with some of these officiating crews you get. Are they going to let you play? Are they going to call PI in the playoffs? And defensive holding a bunch. Those are the things you need to worry about, too.
Those guys.
Yeah, 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text. We'll get to more of your calls and texts coming up as the post-game show rolls on. We will also hear from the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, who will join us from Landover, Maryland, from FedEx Field in Washington, as he's been doing his post-game and been in the locker room. We also have Jerry Jones, CeeDee Lamb as well. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
All right, so my brother stepped away for a second, man. But I want to tell you guys, man, and this is not fear talk, by the way. This is just logically speaking. The Xavier Rhodes, man. At this point, y'all, shout out to Anthony Brown, man. Is there a way we can give him? What happened to Anthony Brown, man? Because, man, at this point, I would rather or prefer one big play a game versus seeing what we seen out of our secondary on the opposite side of Diggs. It's just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. It seems like all of the people just target that side of the field. Now, one thing I can tell you for sure, hear me out. The last time Xavier Rhodes gave up 100 yards, or I believe, when I looked at his stat line, gave up at least 80 to 90 yards as a DB was 3 years ago. I'm not saying that he can be the savior at the age of 32, Xavier Rhodes, by bringing him up or what have you, but it's going to be such a quick turnaround time that we may see him getting burnt like that. You know what I'm saying? But that was the last time, y'all, he gave up north of 90 yards, was in the year before the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So all I can say is, man, we need help on the secondary. And I think that what the Cowboys need to do is next season, hear me out, don't look for drafting another guy. See what you can spend in free agency. See what you can spend, I'm talking about with the youth aspect of it, and see if you can get a veteran to play on the opposite side of Trayvon Diggs. To say, all right, cool. We know what you bring to the table. We got your background. We know X, Y, and Z about you, that you don't give up the deep ball if you're not going to re-up Anthony Brown. But that's how I look at it. Now, as far as Dak Prescott, I see a few of y'all say, hey, man, you know, why you don't crucify Dak Prescott? Well, he going to get his share of the blame in this game, too. Like the score could literally be, 20-6 versus 26-6, right? He gave them 6 points. And what the actual analysis of the analyst was right. Literally, back-to-back picks. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude just dropped the ball. And there was a lot of forcing of the ball. Now, we can argue left and right whether it's Kellen Moore or whether they just in practice, whether wide receivers are not getting separation, whether it's just Dak Prescott can't see or Dak Prescott can't hit his targets or the wide receivers are dropping the ball. At the end of the day, when we lose, it's the end of the world for one, but there will be no tomorrow next week. There will be only the blame looking at the quarterback, regardless of whether the separation is there, Kellen Moore is there, or whether the wide receiver dropped the ball, bounced off the phalanges, or he couldn't read that it's a cover two. And if you're going to throw an out route, you're going to make sure that you got to at least squeeze it to the sideline or the outside shoulder, not the inside shoulder, Dak Prescott. We learned that long times ago, right? You can't be turnover Dak, and especially on your side of the field. You can't do that. Sometimes you will forgive an INT on the opposite side of the field, but not that short side of the field. And on another note, you guys crucified me when I said when it get down to the playoff time, I wouldn't mind for kickoff return if there's such a situation for even Tony Pollard to be back there juxtaposed to Kevontae Turpin. Kevontae Turpin have you having an irregular heartbeat back there sometimes. You know, I need for Kevontae Turpin, when it get down for the playoff time for your mind, I need to look at him and be like, hey, bro, if you're not 100% sure, then let the ball bounce. Let the ball bounce. Fair catch. Don't even get in the way. Because what we can't do is seeing these type of things giving life, liberty in the pursuit of happiness to the opposing team. Our defense, as much as I like to really I really want to turn up on them a little bit. But to the degree that this is why I'm not going to turn up on them just that much. because of the offense been so porous and so horrid and so many 3-and-outs, I got to give them a little shred of benefits of the doubts. And especially the only time that you've seen the ball being moved is on the opposite side of Trayvon Diggs, number one. And number two, teams running up the gut. Those are the two areas on the defense. And hopefully there should be some reinforcement with Jonathan Hankins. And hopefully, man, LVE, come on, man. I need for you to be out there, LVE. I never thought that there would be a day that I would be yelling for LVE. But those are facts, baby, if we want to do anything against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They DB and their linebacker done already said after week one, they already said that, hey, if we just stay disciplined on our dropping of 6 and 7 DBs in coverage and just rush 4, even if the Cowboys gash you with 3 to 4 runs up the gut, they're going to resort to throwing the ball. Well, they done set their game plan out already, or the max capabilities of their game plans. So what the Cowboys should do is say, all right, that linebacker was bumping his gums off. Well, we need to bring forth our best run pursuit. And at this point, there's nothing wrong with utilizing 3 running backs. If Zeke can't get out there, and I love Zeke, man, appreciate him, but if we can't get no more positive yards out of Zeke, then let Malik Davis be that guy to go north and south and play off of that with Tony Pollard. And then when we get into the goal line, money zone, green zone, then you can bring Zeke in. That's just how it's going to be. 3-headed monster right now. That's how I would look at it. Because the game looked like it was forced to Zeke, and it didn't look that good, too.
Simply inexplicable. And so normally there would be nothing good to come out of watching this again, but it was so bad that it's like there was a train wreck and I didn't see the train coming. Mm-hmm. So I want to watch the tape and see if I can see where the train was coming from. But then you turn the page. Zach, they were horrible in the first game. They were horrible today. They were pretty good for the 15 games in between.
Yeah.
And I think there's plenty of evidence to say this is not who they were. It's who they were today. But I don't think this is who they are. So I'll be shocked if they play anything resembling this next week.
Brad, it was a game that you felt like that they needed to go win.
Yeah, hear audio?
I know I did. And I'm kind of feeling like with Howell at quarterback, I felt like they could win.
Wow.
But I didn't understand why your quarterback played so poorly today.
Well, no, me either.
And that's the thing that's got me down because he looked like what I thought Howell would look like. Yeah, I mean, I like Howell.
He's got something to him, but his throws were. Prescott was high. He was low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I kind of I'm thinking.
I have no explanation.
If you put you put the name Howell on the back of number 4 today, I would have said that's probably what Howell's going to look like in this game today. But I didn't expect this quarterback to play this poorly.
and he did, and he didn't have much help.
The offensive line was terrible, yeah.
There were 3 or 4 drops. He had to throw into tight windows because the receivers would not or could not open any windows. And then some of the throws were just awful. Yeah. And I have no explanation for that. It's not who he is. We've seen him. That's not who he is. But that's who he was today, and I don't believe that's who he'll be next week.
Brad, do they?
And I just base that on what we've seen.
Yeah,
and it's not based on blind hope.
No,
evidence tells me that's not who he is. We'll see better.
No, that is your hope. Are they struggling with a second receiver right now?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Obviously, I think Hilton's a plus, but 2 got away from him today, and Gallup is just not himself. Yeah, no, I don't. I think right now for next week and for next year, they don't have a second receiver.
Ooh.
Gallup looks like a really good third receiver. Who knows what Tolbert will ever become? And yes, I think they still need a second receiver. That won't help them much next week.
No, I know, and that's what I'm
Amari Cooper.
To me, it looks like that Gallup is just fighting the ball so bad right now. Like it's like when he gets in position, he almost buckles. It's like every miss to him is like I'm not really sure my feet are right and my hands are good. It's just not a confident player playing out there right now, it looks like.
Doesn't look. No, I think that's a good description, Brian. I think that he does not look confident. And frankly, my biggest issue with Noah Brown is that he's always fighting the ball. It's not smooth.
Always.
It doesn't come into him. He seems to always be fighting it.
But that's been him,
we
though.
We see that some with Gallup, and I think that some of the routes are sadly imprecise. And so they just have to go back to work and see what they can come up with this week. But I don't think we got the pre-injury Gallup for sure.
Brad, any thoughts coming out of here about when this game is going to be? Monday night game? Is anybody whispering anything?
Let me early, man. I won't be up all night.
Nobody's whispered, but if I had to bet, I would bet on Monday night because the rumor is that ESPN television had the NFC 4-5 game. And the analyst on that broadcast communicated to me that if Dallas was in that game and they didn't get it, he was going to personally do damage to 345 Park Avenue. So I'm expecting it to be.
Oh man, we lost him, Brad.
Oh, did we lose Brad? We might have dropped Brad, so we appreciate
that. Parking lot's a mess there at FedEx, by the way.
Oh my God,
that is rather and I'm sure if Troy wasn't able to get that game, he would be absolutely livid.
I don't know,
we'll see
man.
if we're able to get Brad back.
I don't know.
Not, Brad brought to you by
Troy
Blockchain.
Aikman,
You don't need a complicated play.
Tony Romo call our games.
That's why
crazy.
You should trust the team at blockchain.com.
Man, let me. Hey, Twin, man, they crucifying us, man. Come on, man. What's good with you, man?
Hey, man, what it do? I've been listening to you in the background, my guy. I've been hearing you guys really talking about the need for a second-round receiver.
Man.
Your boy Dak having one of the worst games since, week 1? And then you got to worry about terrific Tom coming in this joker, man.
Man, I can see myself twice. Let me see if I can fix this, man. For some reason, it don't want to fix itself. But keep talking, man. Yeah.
So, hey, one thing I say is this. Just go back to the basic, man. Whatever y'all identity is, stick to it. At the end of the day, if you had a bad game, just say, hey, you know what? We just didn't execute. So we know the game plan. We know the recipe. Let's just come back to the stove next week. Let's cook it up a little bit better, be a little more precise. And let's just do what we need to do, man. Don't overcomplicate it,
Man.
Just they say keep the basics the basics. Keep the fundamentals the fundamentals. If y'all gonna be a run first team, be a run first team. If you're gonna be a power run first team, be a power run first team. Now, if you're gonna be a stretch zone run team without the power, and you play against them quick linebackers over there in Tampa Bay, y'all might be sitting at the crib next week. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
but if y'all want
to don't be tearing that about my team, man.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep it a beam, my guy. Look, hey, y'all gotta make sure y'all put that jumbo package in early in the game and establish the run. Because one thing y'all want Dak to be is what? Comfortable.
Right.
You don't want Dak throwing the ball 45 times a game.
Man, they should see that by now, man. They should see that they don't want Dak Prescott throwing it that many times a game. Man, it took me forever to build this, man. God, dog, man.
Make sure you have, Zeke, Tony Pollard getting them catches. Did y'all run any tight end screens today? Did y'all run any running back screens today? Did y'all get, did y'all have any several formations where you had more than just one back in the backfield? Did y'all even have a fullback in running in type of lead?
Man, we don't have a
fullback type of lead out tackle. What's the point? Why have that offensive line with those hallmarks in front of you and not have one of them boys to come in there with the big neck rolls? Y'all know the neck rolls back in the day. With one of them neck rolls in there being the lead tackle, coming between the A or B gap, leading the way. So Tony Parker don't have to make the first man miss. So Zeke Elliott don't have to get tackled 3 or 4 yards behind the LOS. You got the talent on there, right?
All right,
in the game.
So my analysis is that Jason Peters is who I thought he was as a long-term fit. No. As a guy that played left tackle. No. I think that he's good for 30 snaps, not 60. and we can see that. I think that the Cowboys went into this game plan with, we playing against Sam Howell, you know what I'm saying? And I think that the Cowboys pretty much shot themselves in the foot by not taking their opponents, man. You know, they say keep your guards up at all times. They dropped their guards, man, got punched right in the mouth. That's the only thing I can think of. But you preaching, though, man. All right, so DB, man. Talk to me about DB. Did you get a chance to see my DBs get burnt today?
Hey, I saw that boy. What a scary.
Oh yeah. They said it's Tony Pollard, not Parker.
Oh, hey, you won't mind having a Tony Parker though, because in the playoffs, Tony Parker was top 5. But anyway, hey, Tony Pollard need to be out there, you know, shaking and baking, man. And again, I don't understand why you guys don't do a little misdirection where you do have Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, and maybe having some of your boy CeeDee Lamb motioning from the inside, inside wide receiver position to the opposing side of the field. Just try to throw out the defense. Do a little, scheme them up a little bit.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Can you say that one more time? Just the last part, just a little piece of it.
I'm just saying.
No. Just say scheme them up. Just say that one more time.
Just scheme them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So the defenders don't know how to just pin their ear back in.
KC Podcasting says, sir, we don't got screenplays in the playbook. Stop asking for
it. Can you put them in?
No, not this late in the game. We don't, man. We went out there and played the Washington team. Dak didn't look good at all, man. He didn't look good at all in this game. But one quarter he did. One piece of a quarter he did. One piece of quarter. There's any silver lining, any great white hope for this right now with Dak Prescott. The last little stretch right before the half, he looked good.
Yeah,
that boy looked good. That boy looked good, man.
That boy sure is good.
Let me go, man. They call you Duck Dynasty beer, man. Yes, indeed. That beer go hard, man. Let them know, man, about that beer power, fam.
Hey, man, beer going hard, man. Been going hard for about a year and some change now, man. You got to make sure you get your beer right, especially in the wintertime. You know, it get cold outside, so you want to protect the neck.
Let me listen to that right quick. Hold on right quick.
1-4?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's think of all the grass games. You lost in Philly. You lost in Jacksonville.
You can't hear
Philly,
him, but
Jacksonville,
I'll be right
Green
back.
Bay,
yes, sir.
Washington. The only game you won was Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're 1-4 on grass?
Yep. 1-4 on grass.
That's what it is
on
grass.
That's a grass field there, man. Raymond James.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Just something to think about.
That's interesting. That's a good point there. Yeah. But with the offense, it's just weird to me how certain things you get excited about, you applaud it for how they're like the tight ends, right? The use of the 3 tight ends. And I get it. Ferguson's been banged up a little bit, but then all of a sudden that becomes non-existent. It's like Dalton Schultz, only tight end to catch a ball today. You don't see any utilization of the tight ends.
Jake
Ferguson did have one catch for 4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But the CeeDee Lamb, getting him in motion 1 week, that's something that Kellen's doing extremely well. Next week, not involved. Today, it took forever to get CeeDee Lamb involved. You do have a lack of wide receiver, too. But if that's an issue, then find somewhere else to find production in the offense. Maybe it's the tight ends. I don't know. There's just such a lack of consistency week to week with the offense. 1 week something's working fantastic, the next week it's nowhere to be found.
You kind of feel like that they're making progress, and then all of a sudden it's these
one step forward, 2 steps back,
and then these games come back and slap you right in the face. They're not blocking anybody, they're not making any plays. Quarterback's bad. Yeah, it was just everything about today. And it should have been one of those days where you should have been able to go out there and score enough points to beat a rookie quarterback making his first start. You let the Washington Commanders, you let them make his job. You made his first start very comfortable for him. The way they were able to kind of just the defense with all those.
Well, how about the field position? Perhaps to start the game.
Oh, no question.
And 10 3-and-outs, absolutely.
Yeah. All those 3-and-outs. 11 of them. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
10.
10 3-and-outs. That's incredible.
Well, 11 if you want to include the pick 6.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, right before, let's try and sneak in John in Fort Worth here in line 5. John, what's going on? You're on the official postgame show of the Cowboys.
Hey, guys, I'm trying to make this very quick, and I love you both. Y'all do a great job on this every week.
Love you more.
My thing is, and Brian, it's one of the first times I remember ever hearing you on the radio. When we drafted Dak, it was talked about why he went so low in the draft was because he didn't practice well, but he performed in games.
He did.
They played down to competition all the time. Is this a mental thing, maybe with Dak being a leader of the team and not being able to get his guys up because he mentally can't get himself prepared for a game that seems to be easy? Or is this more coaching? I appreciate it, guys. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, John.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's played down. You know, I really do believe this Commanders team. They were a bad call or two in the Giants game, and I know they were 0-3, and they played like the Cowboys did last week.
If they had not played Carson Wentz last week, they're probably in the playoffs.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. That the way they played defense,
I needed to see Carson.
That's not an excuse for why the Cowboys lost. Cowboys played terrible today.
I don't know. I don't think the Commanders are a bad team.
No, I don't either.
I just don't. And I
think they're better than the Giants, to be honest with you. I think they should have beaten them twice this year.
I think you're right about that. So I don't know about Dak playing down. I know one thing, there was a talk where bad teams the last couple of years, they were just beating up on bad teams and losing to good teams. But they were beating good teams this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, their record against good teams was not terrible. So I don't have a great answer for his question about getting up for games and stuff like that, or leadership, or him getting up for games. I think he was just awful today.
No, I think today was just a bad game for Dak.
When Dak looks bad, he can look really bad.
No, it's so true. When Dak's on, he plays like a top 5 to 10 quarterback in football.
Yeah.
But a bad Dak day, he's looking like holy cow. And today was a Poochie's Dak day.
Yeah.
It was not good.
He was awful.
It was a bag of farts, man.
Yeah, sure
it was horrible out there for 4 today, and he'd be the first one to tell you that. All right, more of your calls. Plus, we'll hear from the quarterback, Dak Prescott. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Your past, present.
Man, that's crazy, man. Twin, man, what you got, man? Ooh, woo.
My man said it looked like a bag of farts.
Man, that right there, man.
Hey,
woo. Talk to me.
So my question is this, though, man. So if you know your quarterback is having an off day, as an offensive coordinator, man, you got to protect your quarterback from himself, right? Again, this is where establishing the running game helps, or getting easy passes. I think y'all got a guy by the name of Tony Pollard, who I've known to be able to go out there and catch the ball out of the backfield. I think he only had one target today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
one
right.
target. You know what I mean? And if your quarterback throw the ball over 30 times, and you have a prolific running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield, and y'all guys have seen him take the ball and do wheel routes or take it out of the backfield, go 20 yards down the field just by receiving the ball, why did you make sure you get that man easy throws and allow the running back to go out there and make some plays instead of continuing to put him in these very bad situations where he's already having happy feet? You can see that he's not on target, nor is he accurate, or is he being precise as well. So if those 3 things are going against your quarterback, it's up to you as the offensive coordinator to make sure you kind of get him back into rhythm. And the best way to do that is establishing some easy passes and getting the running game going properly.
We don't do that here, man. I get exactly what you're saying. Like, get your quarterback in rhythm, figure out ways to utilize the short game if your long game is not getting there, understanding your player's skill set. And to the other people's thoughts here, one of the things that you can do with that is to probably give an end around to CeeDee Lamb, or give an end around to Tony Pollard, or not Jalen Tolbert, but Kevontae Turpin. But we don't do those things because they may be saving that for the playoffs. But my thing is, the philosophy of saving for the playoffs if you saving plays for the playoffs, then it could be a situation whereas, hear me out, y'all, that your guys won't be executing those plays that you're saving for the playoff because they haven't done it in a game. If you know what I'm saying? So when it's your scheme, you want to maximize your scheme and do your scheme so good that even when they know you're about to do it, that they can't stop it. And that is what you do through the season. Like when y'all line up in Power I, teams know that, hey, there's a possibility that the Niners are about to run this, right? Regardless of whether or not they have you at quarterback, right? That play is going to get its average because that is what you guys do best. KC podcast says, can we have Twin call the plays? It sounds like he comes from the Shanahan's tree. Yeah. You want to call the plays, man?
hey, with your guys, man, I would love to because y'all do got enough playmakers where you don't have to be forcing the ball to Noah Brown. You got enough guys to be able to spread out the defense or just, again, you just want the defense to be hesitant. You want to make sure you continue to win on the line of scrimmage. I think you guys got a wonderful offensive line, man. But you got to make sure you do, like, say, for instance, today would have been a day you say, you know what? Let me go back and look at that Cooper Rush playbook. And since Dak ain't cooking right now, let's take some of those plays that we call for Cooper since the game isn't blown out. Like, it was pretty much a 2-score game.
Right.
And when I mean 2-score, like a 10-point game up until the fourth quarter, right?
Right.
So it's not like you needed any really big explosive game. You just needed what? Rhythm. You needed confidence. You just needed your team to see that we can move the ball on this defense. You know what I mean? And not get yourselves in 2nd and 8s or 3rd and 9s and things of that nature. And so when you don't establish that, you got already a happy-footed Dak Prescott, and you already know once he threw that first interception, we want to believe that these athletes don't necessarily think about the narrative, but I'd be dogging on that he wasn't thinking about, this is like 7 games in a row and threw another interception.
Man.
Tell me if I'm lying.
No, you jinxed me, man. You said, I know one thing for sure. You gonna say that again?
2 things for what?
For sure. Certain. Go ahead and say what you said about Dak Prescott when we were going play by play, but picking what you said. Then I guarantee you.
Your boy Dak, he gonna throw one at you. You know what I'm saying?
My guy Jay Versus says, I want Dak with an actual OC who can call plays, man. Oh my gosh, man. Let me see if they're back from commercial break, man.
Yes, sir.
19, Buck 69, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 83 rating. And Dak, 14 of 37, 129 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 45.8 passer rating, 3rd worst of his career. Brian, you made an interesting point in our previous segment. Cowboys are heading to Tampa Bay next week at Raymond James Stadium. It is a grass field. Cowboys are 1-4 this year.
People are tweeting at me that Garrett said the same thing, and you and I have been kind of getting ready for this pregame. We don't have any sound on or anything in this. I know the game's on, but I didn't know that Garrett had said this as well. Jason Garrett, he's on the NBC pregame show.
Now you're going to say something?
Rob Phillips brought it up to me, and he said that Garrett mentioned that maybe when they play on grass and it works this way, that maybe their pass rush is not as good.
Doesn't have the speed of that fast turf.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's and so Garrett made that point. So I want to give Rob Phillips, thank you for pointing it out, but give Jason Garrett credit too, that maybe that you're struggling with that. You're struggling with the lack of that burst. Because when you time players for like 40-yard dashes, you take time off like 0.8 off the 40 because of the grass surface. Because that, so
it's like when they run at the combine.
They run the combine, they run on that turf there at Lucas Oil. But if you were to go to say, like if you ran Darren Woodson like we did at Arizona State, he runs like a 4.2, and then you.
So I get it. It's the grass fault.
It's a good point. I was thinking about the record. And I know, I was kind of like, wow,
no, I thought that was an outstanding point you made, because that's something I considered.
People have done a really good job of reaching out to me, and then I appreciate everybody doing that.
No, thank you to Rob Phillips. I hope you're doing well, man. Rob. We miss you, brother. All right, let's hear from the quarterback, your Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, after this loss.
Fault, man. Your Dallas Morning News. How do you characterize the team's performance today and your performance in the league?
For me, not to use the language, but simple as that. And Defense, I thought gave us a chance. Did enough. I mean, obviously some put them in bad positions. Us and special teams did. They were able to hold them to a field goal, get a touchdown. I gave a touchdown on an interception. So, I think defense did enough, obviously. But for offense, just completely not who we are. I don't think I've seen us like that in damn sure the last 2 years. Something that as much as you want to burn the tape and move on, know what we got forward, there's a lot that we've got to learn from and get better and use this tape.
How do you separate that from knowing you have to forget about it quickly and get ready for camp?
Yeah, we've got the right guys in this locker room that understand, that are mature men that understand that nobody played their best ball. Simple as that. But to be accountable, starting with myself, be accountable for what you put out there, what you did, and then from that, understanding that's not who we are, and then moving on and knowing what we've got ahead of us, and it's one play at a time. The intensity, the focus, all that, one play at a time, one game at a time.
So how do you explain that performance, especially your performance? You've had some picks, but you've had a lot of high completion, the 14 to 37, whatever. How do you explain it?
It's hard to. I said crappy. 14 completions, not good enough, period.
Yep.
Dallas Morning, could you feel that when you're out there, like just everything is completely out of sorts?
Yeah, for sure. We're just trying to get something going, and just wasn't able to, honestly. And some of the times, I probably should have just went underneath on some of the throws and wanted to make a play, wanted to get the energy going, wanted to get us going. Took some shots, and those shots weren't there. And once again, we're back behind the chains, and we never put ourselves in third downs that were manageable, and that's what we've done this year.
Were you aware the Eagles scored during the game that they got?
Not at all. Zero awareness of what was going on over there. As I told you before, we had to handle business for that to even be a possibility. Just couldn't get off on the right foot.
Yeah, Todd Archer with ESPN. Is it easy to look at a 17-game season and say 12-5, or does this one linger for a little longer?
No, this one won't linger. It's easy to go back and look at our body of work and what we've done, right, especially when this isn't anywhere in those past 16 games. When you have a performance like this, whatever it was, whatever the reason may be, we've got to, as I said, individually look at it, take accountability, learn from it, and then understand that, hey, with that playing touchdown, we're on to Tampa, and we know who they are. Played them twice in these last 2 years, and it's going to be a good one.
What gives you confidence that you can turn the page? I know you say 16, 17 games, but the team haven't had success in the playoffs. You haven't had success against Tampa. What gives you confidence that you can burn this and it's going to be a different team next week?
As I said, the men in the room. And sure, you look at the first game of this season, wasn't good at all. I didn't play to my performance, obviously, and that was just getting going, trying to find our identity. We lost that game, but you go back a year ago when we played those guys. We've had, just because we didn't win that game, we had some success and familiar now after 2 years of playing them. So that obviously gives you confidence, but more importantly, as I said, the men in the locker room understanding the resilience that they've shown all year long, that we've shown, just being able to respond. And for myself, that's all I knew. That's all I knew.
We play the Washington team every year, though.
Yeah, been having to get back up my whole life.
Get back to it.
In the 4 games now without Terrence Steele, the run game has not met your guys' standard. Past 2 games especially. So what collectively needs to happen here in a week's time to get that part of this offense on track?
Yeah, everybody, I would think those guys would tell you first they got to be accountable for what they're doing, their communication, and just trying to be more physical, I guess. Obviously, we're not going to get Terrence back in this time, so we've got to make sure that we lock in and do our best with what we've got, and we've got some great players. You've got Tyron Smith over there on the right side, and another Hall of Famer over there on the left, if that's what it is. And so no doubt in my mind that that's not going to get corrected.
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And Dak very aware, calling his play crappy, just to go ahead and make that more family friendly. But one thing that is true, and to his point there, of the guys in that locker room, their ability to respond and the resiliency following losses this year. Cowboys lose to the Bucs week 1. They come back, beat the Bengals 20-17. Cowboys lose to they lose to the Eagles. They come back, they beat the Lions 24-6. They lose to the Packers, and they came back and they smacked the Vikings 40-3. So they are undefeated this year following a loss, and let's hope that they can continue that streak next week.
Let's go.
That
we
wild
got
card
it,
game
baby.
in Tampa Bay.
We got it.
Yeah, and but it's going to be about not turning over the ball.
Yeah.
And they haven't figured that out yet. That is a problem. And the quarterback, he stands at the podium and he tells you about it and he has to be better and all that. I'm sorry, man. We hear it every week. About the turnovers and stuff.
That's now a trend.
It's
now to be expected.
If this team is going to have any success at all in the playoffs, he can't turn the ball over. And also I'll throw in Turpin on the punt stuff too. That's a couple of times, and I'll throw in something else. Sam Williams, you can't keep getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties too. Giving people 15
self-inflicted wounds, man.
I mean, everybody, they talk about look in the mirror and all this, that, and the other, but in reality, with Dak, when it's bad, it's bad. I mean, and it's bad for the turnovers.
Right.
Those are just the throws he makes, and we had a caller earlier. He's right.
Let me tell my guy. He says, "Run the dead ball." Right. Here's my only thing. We were averaging 2 yards per run. 3rd and long, baby. But let's go.
I don't want the season to be over. But, man, I don't know if you're a Cowboy fan, and I was one of these guys that were like, different season, knew this, knew that, whatever. But, there's these bad trends they're going through right now.
Well, you'd like as a fan to give yourself some hope and not be pessimistic all the time.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of on the hamster wheel, and you start to see the same thing over and over and over again, I get it. I mean, I understand as we sit here, and as frustrating as it is sometimes, and we'll get the calls after wins that are still frustrated. I mean, I understand it. Because this is kind of how often it tends to be at the end of years.
You want to try and give him the benefit of the doubt as much as you can.
Well, because oftentimes he takes the brunt of the L when he doesn't deserve it. But today's one where you can't defend him.
Yeah. No, you can't defend him today.
No, today's one where he was bad.
He stood up there and admitted it. But, man, I don't, I kind of think, well, okay, it is what it is with the turnovers, but how many pick sixes has this guy thrown this year?
3, right?
I mean, it's one thing just to throw interceptions, but just give away points. That part of it's tough.
Mad now, y'all.
That part of it's tough, and hell, I want to believe. I think we all want to believe, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't know that part of it probably will not get better.
No, he's going to have to play better next week if you want to go ahead and knock out a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep.
The best to ever do it in the playoffs, because he's going to be at his best. Yeah. He always is in those games. Yeah. So Dak's going to have to play his best level of football. He's going to have to turn it around. He's probably going to have to carry that offense, because right now they got a lot of question marks with that offensive line, with the running game. You're not getting a lot of separation at receiver. I got a massive question marks with the play caller.
Yeah.
Big time question marks with him.
Yeah, I didn't need this game going into the playoffs.
No doubt, man. That's Brian Broadus, man. Sometimes on first down we was getting 1 yard, and then we'll get 2 yards, and then we get 1 yard, and that's not sustainable. We don't know how to run consistently, and then we go back to shotgun. And this will sound like bevies of excuses. Everything is like right now labeled as the Cowboys can't get it done. Man, they're going to have to figure it out, the consistency levels of it. Let me bring my brother back on, though, but they're going to have to level out, man. Let me tell you this right quick, Twin. The Cowboys are 1-4 on grass, right? Put that one in down. They are 0-7 versus Tom Brady all time. And they haven't won a playoff game on the road in 30 years. But for the levels of positivities, Twin, Cowboys are 4-0 after a loss. How can we talk to me from your opinion from the outside looking in. Give it to me.
Hey, first thing first, man. If I'm the Cowboy players, I'm not turning on no TV. I ain't turning on no radio station. I'm going dark. 0 dark 30 for the next 6 days. I don't know when y'all play, whether it's 6 days from now, 7 days from now.
I don't know, man.
I don't think y'all have the mental capacity to be able to hear all this stuff that you're going to hear over the next 6 days playing against Tom Brady, because you know what's coming next? This could be Tom Brady, final game. So you know what they're going to mean. That's going to say is he going to go around? I don't think you guys may have heard about this, but you might have. Tom going to start texting people at nighttime. He's going to start texting them and sending them videos on Wednesday and Thursday of the Cowboys. He's going to start letting people see what it is that Sam Williams is doing so you can possibly get a personal foul. They're going to start texting him and let him know what the corner or what the safety's been doing over the last couple of weeks and say, hey, guys, this is how we can go and execute not only the game plan but mess with them mentally. So what needs to happen right now is everything that's got to deal with the mental, they got to spend the next 2 to 3 days focusing on belief, period. All the other stuff, far as, just actively playing the game is one thing, but need to get their mind right and the ability to believe. So whether that's Dak Prescott rallying the troops and really having to come into Jesus moment, or whether that's your boy Diggs or Michael Parsons coming together.
Let me ask you this, though. 100, man, and I never asked you this question before. Your team went to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yeah.
Went to the Super Bowl. And I know his levels of passing, but I'm gonna put the bow tie on the end of it. I'm holding my precious right here. Your team went to the Super Bowl with, what's that kid named? Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
2019, yep.
2019. Is my quarterback, Dak Prescott, better than both of those quarterbacks?
I think he's better than Jimmy. I believe Colin, when he played, had a little swagger about himself that was more magnifying on the screen, because he was more of an athlete, in my opinion, than Dak Prescott. So when Colin threw the ball, because he had a cannon for an arm, so when he threw it, you saw the spiral and the speed of the ball come off the ball. And when he ran the ball, he literally ran for 182 yards in a playoff game. And he played against the Green Bay Packers. And so, I think his ability on the TV when he played at his highest level was more magnifying. But I do believe at this stage right now, Dak has a team offensively that could rival the same team that Dak had. I mean, not Dak, but that Colin had and Jimmy Garoppolo had when they both made it to the Super Bowl those 2 of those years.
Collectively, you think that my Cowboys is better than what that 2013 49ers team?
Offensively, I believe offensively you are, I mean, you're right there. I don't think we didn't do anything that was that great because our defense was really good that year. I think we had 7 Pro Bowls on defense. Our defense really was there. It's just that our offense, we were such a power run team. We ran the ball crazy. You see what I'm saying? And so because we ran the ball crazy and lived off the play action, the bootleg, or the RPO, that gave us explosive plays. But it wasn't like we were throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. Come on, man. It's Colin Kaepernick. He didn't have no arm. You wouldn't trust him to throw the ball as much as you do Dak Prescott. I'll leave it at that.
What was he throwing? What was his year? What year was it? Let me pull up his stat for that year. Shoot.
That's 2012, man. He didn't throw for no 3,500 yards.
Pull him up right quick.
Nah, bro. Look, man, it was what you did, what you took. You didn't make sure he didn't F off the game. And I think that's what one of the guys was talking about there. He was like, I don't trust Dak Prescott right now. He's too iffy. And what I'm telling
Colin Kaepernick, what's his name?
Yeah, Colin, Colin. Colin. Don't tell me how to spell Kaepernick, though.
How you spell Kaepernick, man? Nope. Let me see what this Noop did, man. 2012, right?
Yeah, you 2012, 2013. Yeah, 2012.
Can't be 2012.
2013. No, 2012 going into, you know how the seasons are. But
All right,
I truly believe.
Hell, he didn't turn the ball over. He 3,100. Let me see. So everybody, let me see if I can.
That's pedestrians. People would be so mad if somebody threw 3,000 yards today. Oh my God!
But hey, he only ran the ball. This can't be accurate. He rushed for. He only rushed for 108 yards that year. He had 4 touchdowns. No. Scramble yards, 404. I hate where they break that down. All right, so he ran for 108. So he ran for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. He threw for 3,197 yards, 21 touchdowns to 8 interceptions.
So
right?
As a coordinator, I'm just telling you not to give the game away.
Man.
We need to play possession and time and TOP. You see what I'm saying? And our running backs wasn't as good as Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Had to be. Yeah, y'all running back wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good.
It had to be. It had to be the 2014. No, they split those years, man. It had to be because 2014 he had 3,369, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
It's pretty much the same stat line, though. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know what I'm saying, nothing that was incredibly better than that. It just, again, explosive plays when you can and making sure that you run the ball, establish a physical mentality, try to rough up the game. And then other than that, man, you want to allow the defense to be who they were. You know, we had Alden Smith. We had Aaron Smith. We had Patrick Willis, Navarro Ballman. Like, we had guys who was beastly out there. And so what your thing was on the offense end, just not to put the defense in very compromised position. So if you the Cowboys, y'all have what? Top 5 in sacks this year probably, and then you have a shutdown corner in Diggs. So what you want the offense to do is this. Just give us 21 to 24 points in the game. That's it.
So 2019 y'all went to the Super Bowl, right? Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Okay, so
he had 28. He had 28 touchdowns and I think like 13 INTs that year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and he didn't throw for no 4,000 yards.
No, like 3,978 yards, man.
And I don't know, man. Dak probably, I don't know. Dak probably never threw that. And Dak throw for that on a bad year. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But the whole thing is this. I'm not trying. You don't want Dak to be trying to go out there and throw for 350 yards. You want to say, what can we do and replicate it week 1 of the playoffs, week 2 of the playoffs, week 3 of the playoffs? And y'all can't see and tell me you don't have the offensive repertoire or the offensive personnel to do those things. You just need to talk to Kellen Moore and say, look, man.
Yeah. Now on the back end, let me read these few super chats, man. Appreciate you, Rev. He says, tough L, but it ain't over until it's over, Law. You ain't lying. The fat lady need to start singing when it's over with, and she ain't singing. Shanahan is from KC Podcast from the closet. Shanahan runs a scheme is elite no matter who runs. And that, my friend, I agree with him 1,000%. You got to play some complimentary football. K-Dub says they play complimentary football. Also, they run the ball with a purpose, and they have a plan. It just doesn't feel like we do. This from K-Dub, who backing up your thoughts with that, twin.
And you can't have – and look, bro, your team got 2 rushers with over 150 carries this year. Yeah. 2 rushers. So that means that like you try to run the ball, but again, what are your running plays? You got to make sure you run plays that are you putting this part of your face mask in between the middle of the chest of the opposing team, defensive tackle and defensive end. Y'all got to make sure, because I've seen at least 4 plays where y'all in shotgun and you run the ball in shotgun and Zeke has no. If there's an extra defender coming off the edge, he has a wide open attack on that. I mean, on Zeke Elliott. There's nobody blocking him. There's nobody pulling and hitting the guy on the edge. He had to make the first man miss at the LOS. Other than that, it's a negative 2 yards. That ain't good. That's bad scheme.
Nope, man. You 1,000% right, man. I'm glad it's coming from your mouth and not mine, man, because we got to find out a solution to this in 1 week. We got 1 week to find a solution to this, man, and I'm not satisfied for being 12-5. I want us to go far into the playoffs, and I'm greedy. You know how it goes, and this is when you put out your best, and I'm not saying it's doom and gloom over here, but it could be a situation in a scenario that the Cowboys, if that doesn't work out, it could be a situation like that. I got my guy with a big super chat, and I'm waiting on the AI. She don't even want to speak today, but I'm going to go ahead and read it out. 24-7 Cowboys says, Mike McCarthy better prepare us to go deep in the playoff. Regular season win set you up for the playoff. Kellen Moore is fired, man. Name the playoff dogs on this team, Law. Name. I don't trust our coaches. They ain't dogs right now. Woo. Playoff dogs. Well, dogs that's going into the playoff. At this point, you got to put CD up in there, number one. Number two, you got to put Dalton Schultz. I think he did a great job in this game. And I'll see what he going to bring to the table on the offensive side. Dak, he got to be the main dog, man. He got to be your number one dog out of all of them. But this goes as far as what you said, Twin. If you got a quarterback that you don't trust throwing 30 to 37 times a game, then your main dog got to be your front five and your running backs. Is that right? Yes or no?
Hey, the trenches, man. At the end of the day, we know one thing. We're not talking about it right now, but because a lot of times these teams play in domes and things of that nature. But December and January football is won where? Let's keep it a bean. Where? In the what?
In the trenches, man.
Plump ain't period. So when you go to the playoff, it's the same thing, man. Hey, it's the same thing. You know how people say ain't nothing new underneath the sun, man. Look, it's the same thing from back in the day. And it is establishing itself even today, man. Whoever has the offensive line and the defensive line, they are willing to be more consistent, more nasty, more just overall in sync with one another, is a team that usually are going to win the game. Unless you have a quarterback that plays, there's only like two of them, let's just keep it a bean, that plays out of this world regardless. And unfortunately, everybody don't got one of them. So that means you got to make sure your front five or your front seven on the other end is ready to play like they ready to take off the heads of those other individuals on the other side. So,
man, you correct, man. You know what? Until last year, there was a stat line that was out there, and I want you guys to look it up. The teams that win Super Bowls, and they had like a real lopsided record sheet showing that it's been almost since the Colts. If you remove the Colts and the Saints, it's almost been over 20 years since a dome team won a Super Bowl. Outside of the Colts, the Saints, and the Rams, those are only three dome teams that won a Super Bowl. And it was some crazy other number of the mentality of playing out there on the field. And if you guys got another dome team that won a Super Bowl, let me know in between that time frame. But it was talking about like something about playing on grass, playing on natural grass. This is all about the mentality, going back to the essence of football and things of that nature. And that's a very alarming number, man. They was talking about teams that play on like where my Cowboys play are more so finesse teams, but teams that play in the grass are your rough and rugged teams, the teams that like to get it out of the mud. But that's been, over 15 years since the Saints won the Super Bowl, and over 17 years since the Colts won the Super Bowl. What justified it a little bit is that the Rams just won their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Let me see if they back from commercial break. But, man, that's crazy.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm watching the
Packers. The Seattle Seahawks are not a dome team.
Man. That 12. they built their stadium in like an arc, but it ain't. I think it's called not Reliance Stadium, not Lincoln Stadium, but
man, it was just crazy stadium.
I'll go look it up. Look it up,
man. Before I hit play on this audio, just look it up.
We get to suck on
Jerry
that all
Jones,
week.
y'all.
And if that doesn't make you want to get ready to go in about 6-7 days, nothing else will. And that was as
it said Gillette
thorough butt kicking as we've
Gillette,
had
that's
here.
But Tom Brady.
That's Tom
We're
Brady.
going to find out if that'll get you ready or not. It should with what these guys are made of.
I'm surprised.
That's all I got to say. And I'm frankly, they're sound. They've got really outstanding players, and they're very physical. And so you can basically see a scenario where some of the physicalness that were there, but more important than anything is we get to it. I know you've heard that, and I haven't been down here, but I've heard it. But this one, you get to come back over a bad dream and get
hey, Twin,
to,
I'm going to bring you right back
Jimmy
when you get
Stewart.
finished.
Have a wonderful Christmas. Come back next week. Get back in the gear.
You talking about Christmas.
But that's certainly the way I look at it, and I'm so disappointed for our fans, but not half as disappointed as I would be if I were sitting here this time next week.
Blaze!
So we got something to go for, and we'll empty this bucket this week.
How concerning is it to perform this way in the final week of the regular season going into the playoffs in this kind of fashion?
Well, I would go down just individually and look at each individual, and I'm sure each individual will have performances there that they can and will do better. And so that's for them to say. But make no mistake about it, that's a good team that we played out there tonight, and they could have very easily and probably should have been in the playoff where we were. But we're better than that, and we all believe that very strongly. But now then, we've got to put it out there and get it out there for everybody to look at here next week.
You've seen how good this team can be when they perform at their highest level. How confident are you in this group that they can make a deep playoff run and turn the page?
There's no doubt in my mind that as a team, not just individually, but as a team, that we can come back and take this nightmare, whatever you want to call it, and turn it into a plus. I'm thrilled that we've got the opportunity, and I'm thrilled that we didn't have to look over there at the Philadelphia game and look at the San Francisco game and say, boy, did we mess up. Now, all of that is psychological, and what you saw out there was more that was more technique, that was more physical, that had all of that. And so everybody's got to get in and do better than that.
Jerry, you have defended
today after
what?
How would you assess how Dak played today?
Well, I don't know that throughout the game that I have seen continually throughout a ball game, continue to see his challenges that he was having, what we were having out there. And I'm going to give them credit for mixing it up there and giving us whatever our issues were. Everybody in this room has seen Dak play, and everybody's seen most of the rest of them quite a bit, and have for years. And they don't generally play that way. So let's get in here and take the opportunity we've got and use this as a motivator. Not that this bunch needs it, motivation for our first playoff game here, and so this year. But surprised, but no more disheartened than just as much as both San Francisco and Philadelphia winning, and we not able to move the ball. I think you can make a case. I'm not so sure. What is the most motivational thing a week before you go out there? I know this, we didn't rest anybody. So everybody got to bite this sour apple.
Yep, he's absolutely right.
He's right about that, and I hope his team feels the same way. And I think that's why Mike McCarthy left those starters out there. I think that up at the podium, Mike can talk about the disappointments and stuff like that, but deep down, I'm sure that because we heard some locker room, some Micah Parsons, I've seen some quotes and stuff.
We'll hear from Mike here in just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry's kind of like
what
I was feeling like. I mean, he's the owner, general manager, but
I'm gonna tell Twin to call back.
I hope that what he saw is what those players are feeling right now.
That make
he avoided the question about Dak. And, he's got to be careful about that. I don't think you need the general manager saying, yeah, my guy was terrible out there today.
Right.
He doesn't want to create that, even though that Dak would admit that he was terrible out there today. But, I think Jerry's non-answer will tell you all you think, because he's usually very complimentary of Dak and how Dak played. And, that just wasn't the case today when Jerry was in the post.
No, and I mean, today wasn't a day where you can be complimentary. The quarterback was bad,
yeah.
and there's no way around that.
A couple of guys played really well. I think that we're going to see that Oso Digizua played well.
Him and Dorrance Armstrong really,
probably,
I thought were outstanding
probably
today.
Played pretty well. Yeah, those were the kind of guys that you're going to,
And Chauncey Golston.
11 tackles today.
Yeah, I mean, he led the team with 11 tackles, 5 solo, 6 assisted. And then, unfortunately, Micah got a half sack and Dorrance with a half sack, and that was not good
for
me.
You lose a beard.
Bobby Belt and I had a preseason bet at training camp in Oxnard. I went the over that Micah Parsons would get 15.5 sacks. Loser would have to shave the beard.
What a play.
Wow.
We had a Detroit Lions touchdown.
They had a flag on the field.
Oh, no. We'll update you on the playoff picture. If Green Bay wins, they are in. The Lions were eliminated earlier today with the Seahawks win. So the Seahawks are going to be watching the Sunday night game, hoping the Lions can knock off the Packers. Green Bay currently leading 9-3. Lions win. They get that 7th seed. They'll be going to San Francisco.
I tell you what, they had a touchdown call back on a holding call.
Damn.
So
I think it was the rookie, too, Jamison Williams from Alabama. Big, deep shot from Jared Goff. So we will, and definitely was a hold. It was a good call.
Yep.
We'll see what happens moving forward with this game, and also as soon as we get the times from Super Wild Card Weekend, we will let you know that as well. We'll also go through the rest of the Wild Card slate in the AFC and the NFC, but we'll also hear.
All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Let's go and open up the lines. It is 8:18. Let's do this. Keep your thoughts together real quickly. Let's go. We can't have a long conversation. Get your points out real quickly, though.
There is one other participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
The hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. I ain't gonna be disrespectful to y'all. Don't be disrespectful to me. Got one rule. You can't overtalk the host, right? That's just the reality of it. But I want you guys to spit your mind. Let's have a cordial conversation. And let's keep the decorum within the conversation of the Cowboys being 12-5 and not 5-12. Okay? Appreciate you, Rev. Thank you. Let the room fill up a little bit more. He says, I think we got Dak for one more year after this season. The offensive line has to win the line of scrimmage against Tampa in order for us to even have a chance to win. Stay number one, Law. Appreciate you. And I had another super chat over here. I'm going to try to get all of y'all. Blaze J says, hey, Law, we spoke about the fecal matter. I may encounter, but our only fecal matter I saw today was us. Yeah, fans told me you're walking out of there. I can only imagine, man. I wanted us to win for you, Blaze. Alex says the formula is easy. You need players to have the tenacity. Leave the gentlemen at home. Bring up some more dogs. Yes. KC says, are you open up phone lines? The phone lines open. The phone lines open. I appreciate my brother, man, the twin maker. Appreciate it. I appreciate him for jumping in. His team won, and they got the number 2 seed. And they've been coached up very. They're in a great situation. Before I open up the phone lines, I wish I would have got him to have this conversation. But D'Amico Ryans, their defensive coordinator, if he get a chance to get picked up by someone, they get draft picks for it, right? You get draft picks for any minority that get a head job. So they may be even blessed with even more opportunities, more and more situations. But neither here nor there. Jamie, you're live. Five, 4, 3, 2.
My man.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're live, Jamie. JP.
All right, cool, man. Hey, I just want to say, Law, man, I'm sick, man. I mean, I'm happy my team's in the playoffs. You know, not too many people can say that going into next week. But it just blows my mind how you got to get your playmakers the ball. You know what I mean? These coordinators are not adjusting. They're going with their game plan. They're sticking to it. And you know, I think Tony Ball touched the ball. I think it was like maybe only 7 times. That's not going to work. That's not going to work in the playoffs. And these coordinators got to find ways to get those guys the balls. You know what I mean? And also next week, Tom Brady. We all know what he's coming with. So Dan Quinn's got to get his boys ready, man, because those little dink and dunk passes is what he's all about. And those linebackers, man, I'm hoping that he's gonna just not stick with Parsons rushing the ball, and maybe hopefully bring him back, man.
Hey, Jamie, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your comment on that. And this is going to be a real quick week because I don't even know if I can use any of this footage as far as the film from the All-22 to even go over because we play so poorly, man. Outside of maybe I can do a little clip on Trayvon Mullen, but at this point, I'm to the point, fam, that on the defensive side of the coin, it doesn't mean a hill of beans because we can't get pressure consistently. And if we're not playing complementary football, I don't care what I highlight on the defensive side because I don't want my defense to be fatigued out there. So you brought up some good points, fam.
Exactly. Great point, brother. Great point, man.
No doubt, man. Good call from him. My guy from the 281, you're live.
Yes, sir, man. What's going on, big dog?
Nothing to achieve, man. How you living? Happy New Year to you, fam.
Happy New Year to you also. This game, I really wanted us to maybe play our starters one quarter and then, put them on the bench the rest of the game because everybody knew Philly was playing their starters. The Giants were not. No way the Eagles are going to lose that game.
Right.
I mean, there was just no way. And I wanted our defense to get some rest before going to Tampa, because I think, when it's time to rise and shine, they can be up for the occasion. And if we're going to win in the postseason, it's going to be by defense. It's going to be the same way we did when Cooper Rush was at quarterback. But the key thing is we cannot give the ball to Tom Brady.
No short field. I need Tom Brady to drive the length of the field, and I need for my guys to cheat on Mike Evans because Mike Evans, surprisingly, he's been catching those 9 routes on the deep pass for lately, and that's not even his cup. He's normally inside drag, short pivot turn routes, man. But now he's taking the top off the defense. Tom is finding him, you know.
I think Diggs has to follow him for sure. And we just, pray that cornerback number 2 holds up. Deron Bland's going to do his thing. But if that gives Brady one short field, I think that'll be the difference in the game. He's got to play one clean game. He has won this season against Detroit. He didn't turn the ball over. Every other game this season, he's had at least one turnover. Yeah. So, scoring 35 a game is good and all, but if you're going to give the other team 7 and 14 points a game off your arm, that kind of negates the whole, 35 points a game deal,
No doubt.
So if that can just play clean ball, game manage it, we should be all right. But the last time we won, like you said, on the road in postseason was 92 in Candlestick, on our first Super Bowl win of the Dynasty.
Hey, but, you looked it up. So let's go. Let's rekindle that moment. Appreciate you, fam.
That's in my Rolodex, dude. I got a Rolodex in my mind that'll blow your mind.
Yes, indeed.
So hopefully we do our thing, man. How about them Cowboys? Not really today, but next week.
No doubt, man. How about them, man? He got a how about them Cowboys? Yeah, it's a good call from him, man. Speaking of man, I saw this dude on his Instagram. David Ruffin ain't got nothing on this man. This dude, hey. What's good, Scott? I saw you with the 2 steps on, man. All white. Somebody was turning 60, and you was out there handling it down, man. Or holding it down, man. Appreciate you, man.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Yeah, man, that was had 3-time Stellar Award winner Canton Jones. We had a concert with him, man, and I hosted that, did some comedy and everything like that. Man, that was off the chain, bro. Yeah. That was a great way to kick off the show that I have this for this year so far. But yeah, man, screw all that. What I want to talk about, Law, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. Did I hold my composure good this day? Did I only said a minimum of less of 3 or 4 cuss words? I didn't go crazy today. Did I? I did a good job, man.
No, you did wonderful, but here's the thing, man. Got tricky. This guy right here that loves the Cowboys, I was not worried about this game the least little bit. I'm going to tell you like this. I don't care who in the chat think I'm crazy. I ain't worried about the Cowboys the least little bit. This is the last goddamn game of the season. Dak can get up there and say all he wants, that nobody was checking the game. Once I saw the Eagles go up to 16-0, I'm like, hey, look, we're not getting this. I'm not worried about how they were playing this game, bro. You saw lack of effort. That's not how these boys play. Right. Anybody that sit here and think that they was really giving full effort and this how they're going to look next week, you're out of your mind. I'm sorry to say it like that. I got to come strong because it hurts my nerves. Listen, and the way how I look at the chat and they just dog the team, pissing on them, boo-booing on them, flushing down the toilet. Yeah. Man, listen, I tell y'all that I'm not married, but I've been married for going on 0 years, and I got an imaginary wife. Look, we don't get along all the time. Ain't that right, baby? I hate you, nigga. Like, you heard what you just said, but I still love her, though. I can't stand that bald-headed helper. But we still a team no matter what. You feel me? You know what I'm saying, bro? Listen, I'm not worried about my team. They're going to come to Tampa. I'm 30 minutes from Tampa. I'm going to take my spiritual Holy Ghost down. I'm going to pray like I did when I was with the Eagles. At the Eagles game. And we're going to win. I'm not worried at all. Positivity from the fan base. Now, let's just talk about the play. Listen, I'm not worried about Tony Pollard. He only needed 12 yards to get 1,000. He did that. You didn't see much more from Tony Pollard. You didn't see that much from me. That got what, tied for second for the touchdowns in Cowboys history. Bruh, I didn't need to see no more. All they doing is keeping their blood hot for the next game. They're not going to play like this, guys. Stop fooling yourself. They will not play like this next week. This game wasn't saying whatever, man. I ain't worried about it. Now, if they go to playoffs and do this, and ask you to do this, then murder the team. I'll be right along with you.
Okay. So pitchforks and flames and everything. 0-0. Hey, before I let you go, man, how that imaginary lady look like, though, by the way? You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, she got a big booty. She ain't got no chest at all. She got a booty in the front and a booty in the back, but she ain't got no chest. But she's finer than a mug, though. She got real hair, though. She got real hair.
Okay.
And I know some of y'all on here laughing, but some of y'all wives ain't got real hair right now. Her lashes is on the sink, and her hair's on the sink right now. You got to look at her like, Grizzly Adams. But one thing I do want to say, though, listen. Hey, we're going to win. We're going to beat Tom Brady.
We're going to beat him.
If we get 3 games, we're going to beat him. Be positive, bro.
Appreciate you, man, so much, Scott. Let me hear you say it, man.
I love y'all. Love y'all, Cowboy Nation. And how about them Mamma Jammy Cowboys? We will win. I'm getting my tickets tonight.
Let's go, man. Go get them tickets, man. Him and his imaginary wife. All right, man. I got the 361. You live.
Hey, what's good, Law?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man. What's on your heart?
No, I just I'm kind of disappointed. I feel like the first game was like the last game. And, that's why I'm disappointed in the team.
First game, you starting off how you finish, or you finishing how you starting off, basically.
Yeah. We had our worst game was game number 1, and this game to me was worse.
Right.
So, you have 2 bad games, and they're the start of the season, and it's the end of the season. And what really concerns me is that, the Cowboys they have the talent to beat anybody.
Right.
But it's almost like you never know which team is going to show up. So you can get the team that put foots in the Vikings. Or you can get the team that showed up today. And my issue is I could easily see them beating Tom Brady at Tampa.
You can see it?
I could also see them putting up 6 points too. And the other thing, last thing that bothers me is that Green Bay game.
Okay.
That Green Bay game. So we don't want Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Well, let's see.
We're the reason.
We're the reason why we give life, man. We are free givers, man.
We gave them. He's the reason. We're the reason he's in the playoffs.
We're the reason Jags in the playoffs, man. I feel you. I feel you.
San Francisco's going to have to go and clean up our mess and put foots in the Packers.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, man. I appreciate you for calling in, fam. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, good call from him, man. All right.
The conference has been locked.
We will try to get out of here at 9, man. All right, we got noops everywhere, man. What's good, man? You live?
What's good there, man?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me, man.
Man, you know what? At first I was going to get on them. First, let me say this. How about them Cowboys?
How about them, man?
Regardless of whatever is going on, we're in the playoffs, all right?
Right.
We could have been 1, 2, 5. That's the only places we could have went.
Right.
We go see Brady, all right? We go to see Brady.
Can't
but
run
what
from
I need from what I need from my team, man, I need from my coaching staff to have us prepared. Sometimes we just go out there, and as you seen today, we look flat.
We did.
We can't come out looking flat.
We did.
I mean, from the start, from special teams to the offense to the defense, we just look flat. Now, what I will say, we threw to Noah Brown a lot today. We didn't do a lot of offensive plays. If you go through that game like you said you're going to do, we didn't go to our
here you go right here. He had 6 targets for 1 catch. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, 6 targets, 1 catch.
Now, how many times did we go to CeeDee Lamb? Twice?
Hold on. Let me take a look at it. 7 targets, 5 catches. The ratio was better.
Better, right?
Yeah.
So, look what we usually do and what we didn't do. We didn't really go at Pollard. So today, at first I was like, dang, I want to whoop them because it's the Redskins.
Yeah.
But Cowboys, we're going to be ready. I'm not worried about it. We didn't come out to play today, but we got to have our coaching staff get these boys ready. We too vanilla sometimes in that front office, man.
Noop. This is what we were. Let me put my glasses on for you, man. We were just shimmying too much. We were just being too nice with it. We didn't get our hands dirty, man.
If you look at it, we know we usually do our
we're too much a pretty boy tonight, man.
Look. It's all right. They're pretty on my left, pretty on my right. Sometimes you got to throw them bows. I'm an old school nigga.
It was no yo baby tonight, baby.
hey, Law, man. We're going to be all right, man.
We're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Man.
Sometimes you got to go through this right here to see what you really made of. If we don't come out and play, we home.
No doubt, man. Let me hear you say it, man. Let me hear you say it before I let you roll, man.
How about them Cowboys? Y'all good, man?
No doubt, man. We're just too pretty. We're just two pretty boys tonight, man. All right, Dr. Q, man, you live, fam. Talk to me, man.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Nothing to it,
Dr. Q, man, from the islands. Hey, I just wanted to chime in, man, for a minute. I agree with a couple of the callers, man, just now about us being okay, man, going this playoff and giving Tampa Bay all they can handle. Hey, so my issue, man, I think when I call into you, I sound like a broken record, but I think it starts from I'm going back to the Joneses giving Will McClay that credit card, man. Getting dog players, not at week 16, not at week 15, week 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
What I mean by the dog players is you have to have backup players, man, that are dogs.
Right.
If you look at, and we don't have that, if you look at those top teams, those top 5 teams, they have about 7 dog players offensively and defense on the all 22. All the top 5 teams have that. We don't have that. We have 2 or 3. So we're missing those dog players. Jerry, they want to bring in those Band-Aid players, man, players that injured. Okay, what can they try to do for us? But they has-beens. Next thing, I don't even want to talk about the coaching, JJ and Kellen Moore, because we know they just really coached a horrible game today.
They did.
I keep saying this a lot, man. CD, why is he not in the slot more often? I mentioned that to you when I called last week. They don't put him in the slot enough, man. No one can cover him in the slot. They still keep putting him out wide. Offensive line, we have issues right now. We do have issues, man. Injuries or whatever. That goes back to my first thing. Dog backup players. We just don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing, man. I I know it's early, because I heard you guys talking about, your brother was talking about the wide receiver thing, the twin, and other Cowboy fans. This is what Dallas needs to do, and I'm going to kind of talk about next year. So I'm sorry if I'm going.
No, go ahead.
But you know that after this season, win, lose, or draw in this playoff, they're not going to pick less than 18. So it'll be 18 to 32 they pick. Look at this receiver, the University of Tennessee, man, Jalen Hyatt. The boy is NFL ready.
Oh yeah. I see some of his.
Yeah, they have to make a trade, man. They have to, and I know that's not Jerry Jones and things, but they have to figure out a way.
You know what, Kill? I'm going to push back on that just a little bit. I think that I'm time out for the young guy, waiting for him to develop and then saying, okay, maybe year 2, year 3. I want us to right now look at CeeDee Lamb and know that, we got the option. We got the 5th-year option for him or what have you. And we got the 5th year, we got some time for Trayvon Diggs. I want the Cowboys to stop playing around with their food.
Okay.
I want them to go out there and get a veteran guy. And I ain't talking about like a Band-Aid, you know what I mean? Like a James Washington or a guy that was kind of like maybe, but he's like 33 or 34, you know what I'm saying? I want us to get a young veteran guy that will cost us a first-round draft pick probably. Will cost us 2 second rounds or something like that. That been making some absolute plays in the National Football League that we know that he can play on the road or play, at home and give us something back in return. I'm tired of waiting.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Because again, like I said, if you look at the Philly and you look at the 49ers and the Chiefs, man, if you take their 22 players, man, those teams have about 8 to 9 dogs on their team, man.
Yeah.
And that's what we're missing. What we're missing. You got to give Will McClay the credit card to go out there and get some dog players, man. This face of this team would change them, man. That is the issue right there. Last thing, brother.
Go ahead.
Everybody, please quit talking about the grass field because football is football.
Right.
If you got the players, you can play on sand, rocks, grass, turf. It doesn't matter if you got the players. You got to have that. And I'm sick and tired of hearing. I love Dak, man, but I'm sick and tired of hearing him say the right guys. Come on, man.
Yeah.
The right guy. Come on, go out there and put together, man, because I know they can do it. I know they're going to play differently. I know they're going to play differently going into next week. I'm not saying they're going to win. I always want my Cowboys to win.
Yeah, we always want the Cowboys to win.
Yeah. Exactly. But the thing is, you got to have those players. They got to come together and put this together, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Be safe over there, man.
Okay, man.
Appreciate you, Doc.
Take care, man.
All right, man. Good call from him. All right, good points, man. But hey, it's time out for, let's bring in another, you know what I'm saying? I get it. And then we need more wide receivers with the question mark. I feel you. But you going to get what you going to pay for, right? Look, let me pose some of the Eagles fans since y'all back around here. Wasn't A.J. Brown worth $100 million? Somebody can argue that A.J. Brown would probably worth more. Whereas you don't really force everything on Devontae Smith. You don't force everything on that young guy now, right? So it'll worth the money. Marcos McDowell says, can I call Landlaw from the 704, man? Let me get these guys out and maybe, but brother got to eat today. So 585, you're live. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, Law Nation? What's up, Cowboy Nation?
What's up, Terry?
What's going on? I'm looking at it like this, man. We got 2 ends on this offensive line that are older guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not holding up like that. I would say Teron is holding up a little bit better than Peters.
Right.
They need to switch Teron back to his original position, left tackle, and let's figure it out on the right side. I don't know why this dude Collins is on the bench. I don't understand it.
Avante Collins, yeah.
Yes. I don't know why he's on the bench, but we could not run the ball for nothing. And I hope Zeke and Tony Pollard is pissed off and talking junk in this in their locker room today after this game, because that was embarrassing. And my other thing is too, who told them that Brown was an all-star wide receiver? That dude do not deserve that many damn passes like that, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, I'm just not feeling that. And Dak trying to force the ball to Schultz all the time. We need to see these young tight ends on the field.
Yeah.
So they can open up stuff. They can hit the seams and stuff in these games. Kellen Moore needs to show what he's made of next week.
Yeah.
Because if he can't do it, Jerry need to get him up out of here. And
you know what? The only good thing about this, collectively speaking, that there will probably be nobody calling Kellen Moore nor Dan Quinn for interviews this week, because you know how that thing goes. You know, after the season end, if that's true, then normally, you know, people be like picking up phones saying, "Hey, we want to call you in for an interview." And it kind of throws off everything. So these boys should be completely prepared for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they need to bring forth their best defensive calling and their best strategy. And Xavier Rhodes this week, I need for him to be 100% safe, healthy, so he can go up against these guys on the outside corner thing to help us out.
And
man.
I agree with you with that. And I feel like, I don't know if Barr need to come in and off the field. But I need Vanderest back in the middle, because that's ridiculous too. My other thing, and I'm gonna land my plane. I just need for this team to feel like they were just kicked in the teeth before the playoffs. I need them to drop let they nuts hang, man.
Yeah, let them
pause on the nuts part, because Tom Brady and them is not gonna take y'all. They want to beat the hell out of the Cowboys. Tom Brady wants to keep beating the Cowboys as long as he keeps seeing them. We need to slay the dragon, man. Quit bullshitting, man. Because us as fans, we've been believing in this team for way too long. For them not to produce something, at least show us you can go out here and beat the GOAT. That's a good start.
Hey, all will be forgiven for this year.
It will be forgiven.
Appreciate you, man.
Because I want the media to dog us out so we can go in this game focused, man.
Yeah.
All right, now, peace.
Appreciate you, man. That's Tariq, man. And my thing is with this, man, the Cowboys, I love this Cowboys to the moon and back, man. I would immediately go transition right into draft talk if we don't have life after next week. But I would tell you guys, my solutions for this team in the offseason is, dang, the same issues we had all year about filling in that voided spot for 2 wide receivers we got rid of, Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson, is the same voided spot that we got now, right? Because we seeing the hot and cold nature of Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, off and on. I get all of that. And we are seeing that, CeeDee Lamb can do his thing, but we still have those hiccup moments with his offense. And it goes all the way back to our offensive line, right? And granted, I can't help that we had injuries to occur at the wrong time. But that's life, bro. Y'all, that's life. So we've been having issues on both sides, and I can hear somebody preaching right now. Said, Law is saying all of this but not bringing up Dak. Well, here's the thing. You can't have an inconsistent wide receiver, an inconsistent running game, and an inconsistent front five and expect a consistent quarterback. It just don't work that way. And the quarterback got to be consistent, but the inconsistencies always build up more inconsistencies. We still, heading into this playoff, we don't have an identity for this team. Are we a run-first team, or are we a pass-heavy team? Are we a team that plays with a scheme and design to run or open up the pass, or what are we? Who are the Cowboys? I know we're a turnover team. I know Dak Prescott been turning the ball over, whether or not it's his fault or the opposing team or the phalange faults off the hands. But at some point, we got to figure this out. And we got less than a week to prepare for it. Let me know if I'm wrong, y'all. I got the 571. You're live.
Hello. What's up, Law?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man. Explain to me. Talk to me.
Man, listen, cuz I'm going to tell you one thing before I get chimed in. I miss my boy Cooper. I miss Amari Cooper, man. But, hey, it's a business. It is what it is. But Michael Gallup, dude, I like Gallup, but, dude, he's so inconsistent. Like, bro, you getting paid, what, $54 or $64 million? Bro, you got to be more consistent than that. You got to be more reliable than that. I mean, thank God for CeeDee Lamb's growth this year. But I agree with everything all the other guys had in these calls. But with Dan Quinn, I think he's been too lenient. Not lenient, my bad. He's been leaning on Parsons too much on pass rushing. Like, dude,
man, they overkill Parsons on pass rush, man. Name me one game that he played true linebacker.
I can't really remember. I can't tell you. If I did, I would have told you. And like they should have done it last year, like one game, the Vikings game, when he was playing inside linebacker and then sometimes pass rushing. They didn't mix that up, dude.
No.
And I remember that one call that dude Okoye was talking about. If they were to add a 3-4 package, bro.
Yeah,
be nice.
Because everything streams at us. If Parsons was a 3-4 outside linebacker, he would be in the likes of a Khalil Mack or a Von Miller. But both of those boys, I don't think Von Miller and Khalil Mack can play in a 4-3 scheme, or he'll be like a TJ Watt in a 3-4 system. So when people say, when you look at Parsons' size, yes, he's what, 6'2", 6'2.5", 245-ish. Give or take. Yeah. So that streams everything of if you're going to play that style and kind of caliber, that means you're going to have some big boys inside and he's going to press off the edge and everybody know he's coming as a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Exactly. And then like you could have you got options though, not just like you could still like switch them up in the inside, but then also you still got Law.
Yeah.
Be a good ass rusher. And then you got Sam Williams, and I give Williams credit. Dude, he's not too bad playing against the run.
No. Sam was good. I like Sam. Look, Sam is a little high-headed after the whistle, what have you, but I'm looking at Sam's shoe. Keep him out there on the edge there. He looking pretty good. Yeah.
Hey, look, man, my bad. Look.
Go ahead.
This will piss me off. I saw that replay. Mm-hmm. That dude headbutted him first. He should have got the flag. He should have got the flag, man.
Oh, wow.
And I hated how, like they say, the second guy always get caught.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
And Kellen Moore, man, like they really, I don't know, man. That whole thing's a mess. And Dak, this year, this has really been one bad year where he's turning over the ball. Because he usually don't throw interceptions that many times.
15 of them, yeah.
15, but I think for me, in my opinion, I think like when you miss 5 games and you coming back, you might try to do extra a little bit more, just trying to make up for the lost time and try to like
pressing a little bit.
Press, and I think that's what Dak's been doing. But with the offensive line though.
It couldn't help us, man. But I feel what you're saying, man. But, Dak my guy. But at this point, in this game, he's going to have I think he's saving up for this next game. You know what I'm saying?
and I agree with you. Because you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I get really emotional when my boys lose.
Right.
But this game, I wasn't really that pissed off for some reason. Well, I think because I knew when I heard that the Giants were going to rest some starters, I was like, okay, Eagles going to win this. Frisco, we already know what they're going to do. I was just chilling watching it, but I think the maddest I've ever been this year was against that Packers loss. Like, Eagles, I was pissed. But, dude, I was so pissed off at the Packers game, dude. I almost punched the damn hole in the damn door.
Man, you preaching to the choir, man. I appreciate you for calling in, fam. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. How about the Cowboys?
How about him, man? You preach to the choir. Yeah, but you guys get what I'm saying. I got my guy, JP. You're live from the 971. Talk to me, man.
Yo, what up, Law?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me.
Boy, if we had any bad game, it was tonight, boy. Get that out the way, boy.
Man.
Get that out of the way, boy. Woo, boy. Man.
Ooh, and I got a few Washington people, man, that they if they want to pee on anybody, it'll be me right now, all down the street, man. Yeah, so they peeing on me, man. Go ahead.
I would rather for this to happen tonight than next week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just hopefully, this right here, after the loss, like you said, after they lose, they get so fired up, they come out, they want to kick ass the next week.
Yeah.
And hopefully they take this ass whooping out on Tom Brady and that team, man.
Yeah, I mean they do 4-0, man. The Bucks, man. But we just gonna have to make sure that we capitalize at the moment, and you know, even if you're we know for one thing, up by 17 is not safe with the Cowboys, and down by 10, at least you can fight all the way to the end. But up by 17, we're gonna have to keep the pedal to the metal, and I hope that Dan Quinn got that vicious bite to him. And always wanted to shoot it back to Tom Brady because he was the one that took him out in that Super Bowl, being up by 28-3. So if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm shooting everything at Tom Brady on a smart way, you know.
Man, I'm just oh man, can Zeke give us something this next game? If not, man, you want to bench him or what? Can he give us something, man?
Man, if Zeke does anything. I want him to do 21 slam, and that's it. I don't want to see him bouncing to the edge anymore. I think that's Tony Pollard's game. If I want to see Zeke in his next game, since it's grass, I want to see him when we get inside the 20 or maybe inside the 30. North and south, slam, 21 slam, your power eyes and stuff like that. None of the bouncing to the outside or the outside tosses. Let that be for either Tony Pollard or Malik Davis. I need to see three-headed monsters now. But
let me ask you.
Go ahead before you go.
What happened to Tobin and the other receiver, man? The one from UCLA.
They can't beat out Noah Brown.
Beat out Noah Brown.
They can't beat him out, man. Noah Chris Carter Brown, baby. You see, CJP, you can't get rid of all of the Browns.
So let me ask you this question. So you trust Mullen more than you trust Joseph? He got beat bad today.
About 3 times.
And I mean beat with 3 A's and 1 D at the end. Bad. I mean bad.
Man, you know who I trust now? I trust me. They can put me out there.
Yeah.
Put me out there. Put Law out there, man. I ain't gonna get beat deep though. I promise you I won't get beat deep, man. I promise y'all. I appreciate you so much, JP.
What I got to say about today is there was no injuries. And, and everybody came out healthy. How about them Cowboys? They're in the playoffs. Let's see, can we rally around them?
No doubt.
Get it together and everybody just be positive. I mean, hopefully those holes that we need in the draft don't hurt us in this playoff game, but we'll see.
No doubt, man. Good call from him. All right, so we did. Yeah, man, much love to you too, man. I know you're going to bring up Brookhaven and all that. But look, man, somebody said Law. Why Law lined up 15 yards off? Well, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving them all free releases. Law didn't get beat at all, y'all. I'm going to give them the underneath. Come down and feel, baby. But I think Mullen in his first game with the star is a situation whereas, okay, but it's hard, baby, because this is his first game and he got cooked, and it's just how we got to look at it. I don't know, man. We let Anthony Brown get back, baby. I don't know, man. I really don't know, man. Bland did get hurt, so he'll be evaluated, y'all. All right, I got the 682. You live, fam.
Yeah, how you doing, Law?
Man, I'm well, man. I can't complain. Talk to me, man.
Hey, I'm not trying to keep you, man. I know it's getting near your bedtime.
Yeah.
So let me give you one observation I made. Well, thank you for letting me on the show, first of all. But as I'm watching the Cowboys this season, I realized that Kellen Moore is kind of like a rookie Madden player. I don't know if you play Madden or not. What I mean by that is, like, a great player learns one playbook or scheme like the back of their hand, right? He knows what the hot reads, the audibles, the checks, the protections are, and the protections for every defense that you encounter.
Right.
Kellen Moore, though, he's the type of player who will run what I call like the gumbo playbook. A scheme that has no scheme. It's a mixture of almost everyone else's scheme, everything that he thinks will work, and he'll take from other teams. I have no problem with that if we could execute such a scheme, but unfortunately we just can't, whether it's the players, personnel, or the coaches just can't execute that scheme. I want him to simply focus on one scheme, learn it, run it till death do us apart. Let our team have an identity, because right now we are like chameleons.
Right.
It works sometimes, like when we like blow the teams out, but then it'll come back and bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, almost like everything else we've had.
Yeah.
So like let's just get consistent play calling. Like let's just get one thing down. Let's just know it really good, and use that as our bread and butter, and just like beg them to to try and stop it. Like would you this like what we did in 2016? We ran the ball with Zeke. We said we'll run the ball, stop it.
Yeah,
like, we're not doing that now.
But here's my only thing is I don't think the capabilities of knowledge is within Kellen Moore to disguise the scheme to run. Like Scott Linehan, as much as we want to say negative things about him, I think that he was a better run caller than Kellen Moore, whether it be down and out distance or, the Linehan special. We don't have that anymore, whereas that screen pass to Zeke, I can go back and look at multiple games that we ran that play with Zeke and we won it. That play, if Scott Linehan was here, maybe we'll see some variations of that with Tony Pollard now, or some variations with even Malik Davis, or back with Zeke. But we don't have those specialty plays that can get your quarterback comfortable. Kind of like if you look back at the game plan, and this is not me sullying or denigrating Dak Prescott, but if you look at it, look at the Joshua Dobbs game a couple of weeks ago, right? They did plays to get him comfortable, rollouts, things of that nature, some short, misdirection passes, some throws to the flat, whereas the dictations of that come from the play design. We didn't get that in this game. So it's a difficult one, fam. And that gumbo's, like you said, gumbo is good. Gumbo is good, but shoot, not all the time.
You know how to make it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like that's what I'm saying. He's a rookie at a point to where like his scheme, you run it like someone who doesn't have much knowledge of the game.
Right.
If you look on the opposite side of the field, Dan Quinn has made our defense in the top 5 defense in 2 years because he has a scheme and he runs it to the bone.
To the bone.
Like we know, dude, we're gonna stop the run, right? The first 2-3 downs. If you're gonna go for 4th down, the first 2 downs, and we're gonna pass. Like we're gonna pass rush. That's it. We're gonna stop the run and pass rush.
Man,
we're gonna do it in packages with like many different personnel, but we know what our scheme is.
What's your name, man? Before I let you go, man, what's your name, fam? Because you brought up a real good point. Who? Mooby. Man, let me put you in here, man. I appreciate you, man. Let me hear you say.
How about them Cowboys?
Let me tell you why he brought up a good point. Didn't mean to put the laughing button on you. But he was talking about Dan Quinn's scheme. And when he was in Seattle, although it was Gus Bradley, whoever that guy was, but Dan Quinn was elevated to be like some of the play callers on the defense. One of the things that we're missing is that I'm going to make you pay guy. And as much as we talk about left and right and left on this defense, about the corners and things like that, because we all knew of a Richard Sherman, right? Dog, right? And we're not going to put Trayvon Diggs in that same class because they just play 2 different type of styles of defenses. But one thing that you can say about that defensive front, Maybain was going to create pressure up the gut, and you will have Cliff Averill and all of those boys, Bennett, to capture the edge, and you had Bobby Wagner, the young Bobby Wagner, to really roam the middle of the field, hook the flats or what have you, and get inside and make you pay on pass coverages as it relates to a linebacker. Now, I said all of this, but the key ingredient was Cam Chancellor. He came down to make you pay for it. And on top of that, Earl Thomas, hey, nothing deep. You ain't gonna get no ball off on a deep ball on Earl Thomas, man. And as much as I love my guy Malik Hooker, as much as I love Dono, as much as I love J-Rock, man, all of those boys, I love defense. But ain't nobody on this defense is an Earl Thomas type of safety that had that sideline to sideline that can really put everything in perspectives in a true cover 3. And on top of that, far as the big boys down inside, Big Maybane, I don't think that we got that. So we far from Legion of Boom. That's all I'm saying. Now, we got someone who probably close to a Richard Sherman, whereas the opposition saying, you know what, I ain't going to play around with my food on that side, and that's Trayvon Diggs. And when we are really missing my guy, Dayron Bland, but if you guys get what I'm saying, far as Dan Quinn recipe could have been more of talent versus his scheme. But when you run this cover 3 scheme and you got this so much mixture of trying to utilize Parsons as that assigned assassin dog, I think that that's taking too much out of it. It's kind of equivalent of, let's say if you use this for an example, although there are two different type of skill set. You know, it's kind of like me looking at Bobby Wagner and saying, hey, since he is one of our most athletic guys back in the Legion of Boom days, and we're going to use him blitzing off the edge, trying to get to the quarterback and these sorts of things. Come on. It ain't going to happen that way. All right, let's go with this. My guy, my dog, man, my brother from another mother, man. Montana, what's good? 808. Yes, indeed, fam. You're live.
Hey, man, I ain't tripping. We ain't get our prediction. It's all right, man.
That's okay.
You know what I mean? It's all right.
Right.
We still in the playoffs. Hey, we playing next week, though. There's some teams that's not playing next week.
Nah, they going to watch us play.
Hey, they sitting on that couch.
Yeah.
But, you know, all I got to say is, we all know what Kellen Moore is. I've been saying it since he took over. He's not that dude because he came from under the Garrett regime.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people keep talking this Sean Payton thing. I just want the fans to understand that Sean Payton has the same win-loss record as Jason Garrett minus a Super Bowl.
Right.
He has the same win-loss record in the playoffs minus that run in the Super Bowl. Jason Garrett. He has the same losing season as Jason Garrett minus that Super Bowl. Why are we so hyped about dude?
Yeah, man, it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things, fam.
Oh, man. Just love what you got in front of you. Mike McCarthy is doing a decent job for what he got to deal with. He worked for the Joneses, man. So, come on, man. We can't keep hating this man, bro. And, you know, a lot of fans praising Dan Quinn, and I kept telling people, like, hey, man, he's a little suspect, too, man. He'll get cute. Look at the second half of the season. Garrett has been injured. I understand that. But if he's so elite, they still should at least beat. They had all offseason to get a lot of these guys ready. So, you know, I don't know, man.
Well,
they gotta do something.
Well, we're gonna bounce back, man, next week. I appreciate you, Montana. Thank you for calling in, fam.
Always. How about them Cowboys? Let's get it.
How about them Cowboys? It's do or die now, baby. It's do or die. This is the moment that we all been waiting for, man. I got Stelios from the 520. You're live. Uncle Dave.
What up, Law? I'm going to be quick because I just got off the freeway. I drove 69 miles sitting here waiting to get on the phone out on the freeway, peeping out cops and stuff because I just came from my Army duties.
Oh, man. Good.
So I'm just
Congratulations, man.
33-17 Cowboys when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Woo!
Number 2, when y'all was on this line, when Law said you got to make your point and make it quick, make your point and make it quick. Quit being long-winded because y'all talk too damn long. Make your point and get off the phone. Number 3, I just slipped up and said a bad word. I just made that report Friday about the expletive. And somebody said an expletive, they shouldn't have said it. The expletive is bull sugar. Remember this. Stop with the BS. Three things of football: offense, defense, special teams. You got to be consistent, fluid. Everybody's got to be consistent. Everybody's got to play fluid, and they got to play their assignments. That's all it is to it. If it didn't happen today, it didn't happen today. It got the bugaboo out the way. It's done. Now I'm HANGRY. Hangry. I'm hungry. I'm angry. I'm mad because y'all take too damn long talking. Law need to eat, and I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat. Appreciate you. Let me hear you say one more thing before I go, man.
Breaking news. I could have swore I told y'all Friday the expletive is bull sugar. Stop with all this bad language. We have children listening. Back to you, Law. And how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, that's Uncle Dave, man. And y'all charging to my head and not his heart because I the one kicked it off with the bad languages today. All right, man. All right, I got the 301 and I got the 757 and the 281, man. 301, you're live for right now, man. Talk to me.
Okay. Let me start off with the interceptions.
All right, go ahead.
All this noise made about interceptions. Mm-hmm. Brady threw, 3 interceptions in an NFC Championship game along with Aaron Rodgers? So to say that interceptions basically going to cost you game, that's not automatic. Romo threw 6 interceptions against, I don't know if it was the Bills, and they won the game. So it's not automatic. But yes, it does need to be corrected, and today that was definitely his fault. Special teams, how did we do? Because I don't hear anybody talk about special teams.
Terrible today. Ooh, terrible. Phase of the game.
Secondary. In the secondary, any deep balls or third and long, giving up a higher third down efficiency?
Yeah. Are you talking about on our end? On their end?
Yes, on our end.
Let me see where we at right now. You put a new one on me. All right, let me give you the efficiency level. We were 4 for 18 on third down. They was 3 for 14 on third downs, which is pretty much equal. But we were terrible on third down, 4 for 18. That's terrible, man. 1 for 3 on fourth downs, and that's terrible too. What we really lost the game at is the time of possession. We only had the ball for 23 minutes. They had the ball for 36. That's playing major keep away. But what's your other point before I let you roll?
We got the D-line. How did it do against that mobile quarterback?
Terrible, man.
Like he was running around him.
Yeah, he was able to get off. Yeah.
Everybody's talking about Brady. Brady has a losing record. When the team wins, it's all about him. When they lose, then it's about everybody else. I'm not afraid of him. It's never been all about him. It's been more about his defenses. I'm not that person who believes in that GOAT mentality. I'm not there. But I think we're also slow with developing our players. I think we missed our secondary coach that we had. I think we changed the secondary coach from last year. That's why we've seen some of the fall off. Trevor's in the playoffs because of the defense. He takes no hits from that. And for the person who compared Madden to NFL, please don't do that. Madden is not an NFL simulation game. And I've got a page that pretty much writes all about that. So please don't even bring Madden into the discussion of the NFL. And that's all I got to say, except for how about them Cowboys? We're in the playoffs.
We in the playoff, man. Appreciate you, man. That's my guy, man.
Right,
Thank you, man. All right, we in the playoff, man. Good call from him. Just for context there, we sacked Howell 3 times, and that's given. He had a quarterback passer rating of 83, QBR of 44, and then Dak Prescott QBR of 14.8 and a passer rating of 45. So that's terrible efficiencies no matter how you cook it. All right, I got the 757. You're live, man. Talk to me, fam.
What's up, Law?
Nothing to it, man.
Hey, I was actually at the game tonight, man. I live in VA, so every time the Cowboys come to D.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed in what I saw, man. The offense played bad. They couldn't establish a rhythm. Dak was off target. He threw another interception. It seems like every week he's throwing an interception. We couldn't establish the run game. Offensive line wasn't looking good.
Right.
special teams, they dropped the ball, man. That fumble punt, Turpin, he fumbled the ball. And then the defense, y'all giving up 20-something points to a third-string quarterback, man. And it seemed like Washington, they had nothing to play for.
Right.
But yet they played harder than the Cowboys did. And the Cowboys are playing to win the NFC East.
So you thinking that they played pretty much not to like get injured? That's what their mindset. You got the vibes. You've been to multiple football games. Did they play with any heart tonight, or is it was just more so like, you know, damn if we do, damn if we don't type?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if they were just looking to the game next week in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I just.
That's what we hope, though, right? That's what we hope. That's the only thing I can say for it. That's what we hope, right? We hope
right. That's what we kids do.
Yeah, because I played. You know, we played some many of sports, man, and they didn't seem like they hustled and bustled enough, man.
Yeah, man. They just didn't have it today, man. And that's not what I want to see going into the playoffs, Law. I want to see us go make a deep playoff run, man. And playing like this, we're not going to do it, man. Turnovers is going to kill us in the playoffs, and we got some work to do for next week against Tom Brady.
No doubt, man. We got some work to do, man. Hey, we just got to make them bleed and believe it. I mean, you know, let's go against all odds, man. I appreciate you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, man. Hey, have a good evening.
You as well. I smell the lady. The lady is cooking some good food, and I can't wait to partake in some of that. The 281, you're the last caller of the night. Talk to me.
What's up, Law Nation?
What's good, man?
Hey, man. It was a disappointing loss tonight. I really wanted us to go out on the high note.
Right.
We did.
Right.
But the good news is we are in the playoffs.
We are in the playoffs.
And then I truly believe that we playing a team that we have enough to beat.
Right.
I don't know how much we have to go, how far we're gonna go deep, how deep we're gonna go in the playoffs. This game kind of made me spectacle of that. But before that, I was looking at really the NFC Championship game. That's what I was looking at. Right now, I still believe that we're gonna beat Tampa. It's gonna be a closer game than I would like. I think it's gonna go down to maybe that last possession.
Mm-hmm.
Just being the two teams and how they play one another, then that'll be like the first victory of Tom Brady.
Against Tom Brady, yeah.
I'm predicting that.
Yeah.
I'm predicting that'll be the first victory against Tom Brady and Cowboys for the Cowboys. So, but that's and then and I heard you kept on mentioning something about like a receiver that we can get. Like who are you thinking about? Because I was checking it out and looking. For like an age, what age group you thinking about? From 25 to 28 or something like that?
Yeah. Right around that age, 24 to maybe no more than 28 years of age, close to, somebody that you can sign comfortably with a 3-year deal to put right beside my guy, not Trayvon Diggs, but my guy, damn, I'm losing my mind. He'll give me something to eat now, man. CD Lamb. Yeah, put beside CD Lamb. And let's see if we work something out. I would think this right here. I was thinking of DK Metcalf this past off season, and y'all crucified me for it. I was thinking that since they was already mentioning that they would want a second and a fourth or something like that, 2 seconds. I know that DK Metcalf, I don't even know let me see what DK did this year. When they was trying to do their fire sale over there. And let me see what DK Metcalf, because I was looking at somebody that you can bring in to help CD Lamb out, that won't be, 87 receptions for 1,000 yards. DK would be a excellent number 2 here, right? you put it. We want to get back to physicality. I think that if you would have went to this offseason with CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, and I'm talking about this past offseason, and then you wouldn't have to rush Michael Gallup out there as much, right? That's how I was looking at it. That's how, and then DK is really comfortable in a run-first style because that's what they did in Seattle land. He would have been really comfortable in that type of pursuits. I think that if the Cowboys gave up a second and a third or what have you, just come and draft for DK Metcalf, then they all would be okay. But, that's water under the bridge now. So we got our second-round draft pick and we got our third-round draft pick. So let's see what it's going to look like now. You know what I'm saying? Who we going to draft in the second round? Who we going to draft in the third round now to see whether or not they could be an impact to this team?
I think we still need to do what you're saying again, like go that route again, because it seems like the guys that are coming out early, the wide receivers, they are making a big impact. Those later round draft picks for the wide receiver position, because it seems like when we get a guy, he either got to be drafted in the top round when it comes to wide receivers, or he just don't pan out for us. Like, we don't have no wide receivers that really in the late rounds that we keep around past, like, the second contract, like, talking about.
Right.
It's
one of those things. Like how valuable now Jalen Tolbert is to this team. He was the third-round draft pick. People would beat me up saying, well, Jalen Tolbert is going to be that dude, Law, or Simi Fehoko. Look at his size. He's going to be that guy. So we still waiting on Simi. We still waiting on Jalen Tolbert. And Jalen Tolbert, man, I'm not finna crucify the man. Maybe he will be the guy next year, that can stand tall. But I want a known commodity. So when the Panthers was talking about they are willing to trade off DJ Moore for a second and 2 seconds or something like that, what DJ Moore would do for this team, right? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, DJ Moore, he'll help out a whole lot, but I kind of like I didn't kill you for the DK thing, because I believe that will help out Dak a whole lot, a big body, and then he run just good enough routes. Like, he's not a terrible route runner.
Right.
And Dak loves to throw across the middle of the field, and he don't have alligator arms like some of our receivers do.
Right.
When you come across the middle, because I think that's what we need to look at. Like, not just look at the receiver. Okay, he can do his thing or whatever. What does Dak like? Because we got Dak for the long haul. He's not going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going nowhere. So we gotta look and see what Dak like. Just focus on his strengths. Like, just add to Dak's strengths, not take away. Just keep on adding to Dak's strengths. And I think we'll be just fine, and then we can make that run like I think we can. Because I want this train to keep going. I don't want to just be like what the Rams did, one Super Bowl and not the playoffs.
Right.
Like, I want this thing to keep rolling.
Here's my 1,000 truths on this, fam. I'm not saying that the season is over with just because of this loss, by the way. I think that if they go back to next week and they dial up a proper game plan, because they didn't dial up no game plan this week. They dial up a proper game plan and say, okay, Dak, these are the things that you do good at. Feeding off the play action. Hey, Zeke, we tried to get you early and started often in this game, but let's switch it up a little bit. Let's use you as a closer, as a guy that can close out the game, and we're going to start it off with a little bit of Tony Pollard, right? And that way, and then we can still mix it in, and that way we can get that safety that's sitting on top of the roof there to climb down inside, so we can feed off the play action. If we do that, and I know the offensive line been porous or what have you, but I still think that you can get those type of plays out even with this offensive line.
Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Like I said, I believe we're gonna win the game. It's gonna be like one of those last possession games.
Mm-hmm.
And I still believe in that. Like it just, man, everything was crumbling from go. Everything come from go, and it just kept crumbling. It just wasn't nothing just to feed off of. Like, wasn't nothing you can hang your head on. So, but I'm still all about the Cowboys. I believe
like I said, we gonna get past this bye week.
Yeah. Beyond this little week, man.
Not the bye week. The wild card.
No doubt, man.
Round. We gonna get past the wild card round.
Let's go. I appreciate you, man.
Game. All right, man. Go and enjoy yourself. And how about them Cowboys, man?
No doubt, man. I'm going to get on here and grab me something to eat, man. I appreciate y'all. That's why I'm stumbling over my words and everything.
Goodbye.
Let me get on up out of here, y'all. But on my way out, I just want to tell y'all, man, I thank those who donated to this channel. I thank those who subscribed to this channel. I truly believe that, even what I said, you got to take objective analysis, objective criticism. I can't tell you guys that, you can look back at this game and say, all right, what a PVO. And shout out to you, Lady Jessica. I'm not talking about you, but we got to go over the pitfalls of this team. Look back at what we do when we win and look over the things that we do when we lose. And on top of that, 12-5, Eastside Herald, let me know who y'all go draft in the draft right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we going to the playoff. That's something your team ain't going to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? You going to be watching us while we play them next week, right? So that's the reality of it, right? Shout out to Eastside Herald. He's my guy. But I want you guys to understand those portions of NFL and his life in general. Think about this. I got some positivities for y'all, man. Just because y'all may not want to hear it, I know y'all may say, well, Law finna put some good lipstick on this pig. But for those who need to hear, let those who have ears hear. You know what I'm saying? Because when we get this thing going, it's just the way it is. There's no shortcuts to success. There's no easy alley-hoop to this. Let me know right now. Let me know right now. If you, for the Cowboys, let me see some blue hearts. Let me see some blue hearts in the chat. What if I told you last year, the team that lifted up that Lombardi trophy, the LA Rams, they were 0-7 versus the 49ers. Let me repeat. Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan was 0-7. They got swept. A lot of people don't follow that tape, but they got swept in the regular season. They couldn't run from their enemy, the nemesis, the guy that put them on game. So yes, the Cowboys didn't win a playoff game on the road in 30 years. And yes, the Cowboys are 1-4 on natural grass. And yes, the Dallas Cowboys are 0-7 versus the great Tom Brady. But I've been saving that bullet in the chamber. I got one bullet that I need to fire off, and I got to make sure that I hit my target. He's dead, y'all. FBI, open up! They dead, y'all. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting you know what. Pull your strap on me, you better kill me. Because my fofo make sure all y'all kids won't grow, right? It's playoff time, it's do or die. That's what it is. And that's what we do. The Cowboys with a slap in their face in this game. What if I told you guys, that the Cowboys are 4-0 after a loss? When I look at this chart and I look at this moment, y'all ain't gonna like me here today, but I'm coming to tell you guys right now, as hungry as my body is, my belly touching my back, but that's when the extra energy kick in. That's when the power of the nation kick in. That's when the mindset kick in. That's when the extra lap kick in. You can't beat me unless you outwork me, right? That's why I got records still to this day in Mississippi, because you can't beat me because you ain't gonna be able to outwork me. You ain't gonna be able to outperform me. But I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the Cowboys are 4-0 after a loss. We got 4 more games to go. If you contextualize it right now, and if this team is hungry like I am, If this team is wanting to get things out of the mud like I am, write this down. For the final game of the season, even in a loss, I'm speaking some words to you guys. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it, if you will simply, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish, or fame, or sickness of your body or brain can turn you away, ladies and gentlemen, if dogged and grim and besieged and besetted with the help of Almighty, guess what? You will get it, baby. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Y'all said y'all wanted to be here. You said you wanted to be here. Back-to-back playoff appearances. That's the start of a good race. Nowadays, nothing come on. Shout out to you, Keith Floyd. Shout out to you, Alpha Red, Rev. Appreciate you, KC, Alex, Marcos, Meek, not Mills. Shout out to you, Illmatic. Let's go. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up a way till I go produce the sort of numbers one. Different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up. I'm looking for someone. I'm looking for someone when they hear that gun glock. I don't want y'all to run. I want y'all to stand and fight. Time will tell. I kill, I feel you. Fall still fighting. Even when your chances are slim. Even when everybody say that you can't. Even when they counted you out. These are the type of messages that need to be heard around the four corners of that locker room. Appreciate you, Jamie. If you don't like the message, come on. I would never sell my only soul. Heard your whole team was for sale. Heard it's on the market for the low. Who the realest we might never know. All this acting you gon' play a role. Come on. You the world when they sign you up. Try you out and then they line you up. Oh. Now you look. If it's your birthday this month, happy birthday to you and you. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's icy. I got wifey on bling and she icy. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's icy. I got wifey on bling and she icy. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos.
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist. Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.